You're listening to Kickoff live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise, Rent-A-Car, whatever it is, they're here for it. Transfer window show is live on Talksport right now. Jim White and Alex Crook, that big deal right on the deadline. Jurgen Strand-Larsen, Wolves to Palace, £48 million. More on that and the other deals that have been done on Talksport tonight. That's why we're on Talksport 2 with live Premier League football as Sunderland take on Burnley. And at different times this season, Scott Parker has talked about his players having quality. He said he's proud of them. He's even said his players went to places not many people go to after one game. All those quotes, Dean Ashton, came after defeats. So first of all, do players believe all that stuff from manager interviews?
It depends whether he's saying it in the dressing room and how he's relaying that in the dressing room. One thing I would say about Scott Parker is I think he's authentic. Having played with him, he was captain at West Ham when I was there, and he gave team talks for Alan Kirbishley, whether he liked it or not. He was that type of character, and he was authentic, and he really did care. And so I think that will come across to the players. Now, ultimately, you know, they'll be so disappointed that defensively has not been what he will have wanted. But he will understand that looking through their squad, he hasn't got players good enough to stay in the division. I think that's pretty clear. He's trying his best, they're trying their best, and that's why he's proud of them, but they're not good enough.
And I think the fundamental thing is the comparative spends. When you look at Sunderland and Burnley, the recruitment's been good by Sunderland, but they did spend a lot more. So, for example, 30 million on Diarra, 20 million each on Lafay, Talby, Adingra, Brobby as well, 15 million on Siddiqui. Burnley, it was 23 million on Ugachukwu, 20 million on Breuer, which you'd have to question. And then you're looking at 13 million and 12 million, and then less than 10 million for Marcus Edwards. So the big money was spent by Sunderland, not by Burnley, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, but it was, you know, obviously we'd heard Tony Cascarino talk about it being probably the best transfer window any newly promoted side has ever had in terms of how many hits they've had with those players, and that's credit to Sunderland. Now, Burnley have tried, but in their own price bracket. But ultimately, there are some of those signings. You talk about Breuer, who is... You have to be a good player to reach this level, of course you do, and he's an international player. But who thought that's the guy? That's the guy that's going to keep us up. What has told you about his recent performances at previous clubs to go, he's the guy? That's what I don't understand. Now, I'm going to blow my own trumpet, but Norwich bought me in the January window to try and stay up. And I came in for a club record fee. I scored 7 goals and we still got relegated on the last day of the season. But what Norwich were doing was giving the manager a chance with a player. Now, Zan Vipotnik is the top scorer in the Championship. He's 23 years old. He's got previous good seasons behind him in terms of goal. Why? Why not go and buy a player like that? He's 23 years old. Why not go and buy that player and say to Scott Parker, here's a player who's banging form. Let's have a, maybe that might help us. I don't see the rationale. That's my thoughts. Yeah,
and actually it's a low risk deal because you probably won't lose money on him, Zan Vipotnik. I mean, you're talking about the Swansea striker. Do you know what I reckon happened there? Because I'm amazed he's not gone anywhere in this window, Zan Vipotnik. For a side like Swansea, bottom half of the Championship, and he's their top scorer in the Championship. I'm amazed he's still at the football club. He says he loves it there, but a big club, Premier League club comes in for him, he's going. I think scouts went to watch him at Hull. He missed 2 open goals at Hull, and maybe they just got a little bit of cold feet when it came to actually pressing the button on the millions that they would have spent, possibly.
But I just think, going back to Burnley, I just don't think Scott Parker's been given those players to have a real chance at staying in the Premier League, and that is the difference. That is the difference between Sunderland and Burnley. Sunderland they haven't been spectacular, but those, the players that they've recruited, the money they've spent has made the difference. It has.
You're absolutely right, and it looks like Sunderland will definitely be staying up, and it definitely looks like Burnley will be heading down. The Stadium of Light has filled up very nicely indeed. It's a very chilly evening on the northeast coast at the Stadium of Lights, and if you're listening to the music in the background, there's been a lot of mid-90s music. They play a lot of music from that era because that's when the Stadium of Light was built. and first opened. I was actually here for the very first competitive game, which was a 3-1 win over Manchester City. You don't need to read anything into it, but I was in the away end that evening. Terrific grounds and a terrific atmosphere as well. And as ever, playing Dance of the Nights from Prokofiev. I've got a feeling they've actually ditched this, dropped this music from The Apprentice in the latest season of The Apprentice, which is remarkable. I can't believe that. But they've still got it here at the Stadium of Light. And it gets the juices flowing. It gets the bloods running and pumping. As we wait for the teams to come out onto the grass. The officials come first. And then the players from Sunderland, unbeaten here. And Burnley, who need to win here. Transfer deadline show currently on Talksport. Carabao Cup semi-final second legs tomorrow night and Wednesday night. Live on Talksport. We're at Arsenal tomorrow, at Man City on Wednesday. This is Talksport 2 and we have live, exclusive Premier League football. Sunderland protecting a proud unbeaten run here. Burnley desperate for points. We've got it live and exclusive with former England striker Dean Ashton alongside your commentator Cameron Pope.
Thank you, Adrian, and good evening, everybody. Two promoted teams fighting very different battles in the second half of this season. Both of them come into Monday night action in poor form. Sunderland have won just one league game in 7, but are the last remaining team to be unbeaten at home, while Burnley's odds of survival are lengthening week on week. Just 3 wins all season and none in their last 14. It'll be a roosing goal for Sunderland behind the defence of Mukiele, Ballard and Alderete, Hume and Reynildo, the wide men, Siddiqui and Diarra in the middle, Lefay, Taubi and Brobby in attack. As for the visitors, Dubravka, who was outstanding in the draw against Tottenham last weekend, he's in goal behind Humphreys, Esteve, Antoine Zebe, Walker, Ugo Chukwu, Florentino and Pires across midfield behind Anthony Edwards and Foster. And the new man on loan from West Ham, James Ward-Prowse, starts life as a Burnley player on the bench, where he's joined by the returning Joe Worrell and Zian Fleming. No Granit Xhaka once again for Sunderland, still out with that ankle injury. My name's Cameron Pope. The sides have broken down below us now. Sunderland in their red and white shirts, and Burnley in their change strip of all blue shirts, shorts and socks. And beside me is the former West Ham United, Norwich and England striker Dean Ashton.
And it's getting to that stage of the season, Cameron, where Burnley have got to start winning games to have any chance of taking it to the end of the season with a chance to stay up. And it starts tonight at the most difficult place in the Premier League, with Sunderland keeping that unbeaten record so far. And Sunderland, well, they can go ahead of Newcastle. Is there any more motivation than that?
Well, it's all set for Sunderland. What a brilliant start to the Premier League season it's been, and it's continued as well. As for Burnley, that long wait for a win stretching back to October. They did win, though, when these two sides met back in August. Goals from Josh Cullen and Jadon Anthony. And a win now, well, it would see them just about clinging on. The gap to safety is at 11 points. And that gap is continuing to stretch at the moment. They saw victory snatched away from them by Tottenham Hotspur last time out, as the opening bars, wise men say, will be ringing around Stadium of Light in the minutes leading down to kick off. Very few would have said Sunderland would be where they are. 11th place in the Premier League. They will go 8th with a win, above Newcastle, above Everton, above Fulham, even 7th if they manage to score enough goals. And that is what they intend to do tonight. Get themselves back to winning ways after that 3-1 defeat. A lacklustre defeat against West Ham United last time out. It's going to be Burnley who get us underway, kicking from left to right in the first half. The referee, Paul Tierney, has taken one last check of the register and gets us underway as the away side go all the way back to Martin Dubravka. It's Sunderland versus Burnley live on Talksport 2. We've got a deadline day special over on Talksport with Jim White, Danny Murphy and Alex Crook as a relegation threat in Burnley. Lump a long ball forward looking for Lyle Foster, the man who's been given the nod tonight ahead of Armando Broja. It's won back by Sunderland. A long ball down the park from Nordi Mukiele, not finding anybody in red and white shirts, and it's through to Martin Dubravka.
Well, neither of these teams like the ball, actually, in the Premier League. 17th for average possession, Sunderland, and dead last for Burnley. So which team is actually going to try and get hold of it and dictate the play? You'd expect it to be Sunderland, surely.
Well, Nordi Mukiele showing his pace there and having to get back and defend against Lyle Foster, who'd run from deep there. A long ball not cleared by Sunderland. And so it was a grateful Robin Roofs who accepted the ball in his penalty area, wearing orange today. The Dutchman, who's doing a tremendous job of keeping the ball out of the Sunderland net. And it's Burnley who will play it back to their stopper, Dubravka. Most saves in the Premier League, the busiest goalkeeper in the Premier League. And he's facing the man tonight who is second. And so these two with very different battles to fight, but very much in need of a win, both of them. Sunderland having lost 2 of their last 3 in the Premier League, as Shamsdeen Talbi on his first start since the Africa Cup of Nations goes back into his defence for Nordi Mukiele, whose right-footed clearance goes deep and out of play for a Sunderland throw. It must have taken a nick of a Burnley player. Last Bashir Humphreys was the nearest to it. 0-0 at the Stadium of Light, 2 minutes gone.
And Mukiele's been one of those stars, hasn't he, that they brought in this summer, playing, you think, as a right back, but at times then without the ball, Trey Hume tends to go as a wing back. Mukiele then becomes the right hand side third centre back. It's probably the interesting part of Sunderland's setup is Trey Hume and where he drifts to, whether that's wing back, right back, or even midfield at times. So it's slightly dislodged their formation.
Well, here comes Talbi. He got it into the attacking third for Sunderland and passes to Lefay. Back behind him, but Sunderland still coming forward. Ball in from the right-hand side. Robbie was waiting for it in the middle with Talbi. Burnley had got there first, and then Lyle Foster goes down. And the referee is slapping his forearm there, Paul Tierney. He's given it against Burnley. And that is going to be a Sunderland free kick inside 3 minutes. Dead central and around about 35 yards out.
Yeah, just misjudged the bounce there, Lyle Foster, and made it pretty obvious to the referee that he'd handled the ball. It's probably just too far out for Lefay, unless he wants to try and catch Dubravka out from distance. Otherwise, it might just be a little clipped ball towards Alderete, Ballard, Mukiele.
Some tall men in there for Sunderland. Trey Hume and Enzo Lefay having a conflab over this ball. It's 5.5 stripes from goal, almost dead central actually, in the Burnley half of the field. No goals in this game. 3.5 minutes on the stadium clock. It's Lefay on his own and goes short along the ground. Trey Hume bending one into the penalty area. A scramble of defensive legs. And eventually, after Ugo Chukwu got a foot to the ball, it was slammed clear by Burnley. Here comes Lefay again. Tight to the Sunderland left touchline. Cutting it back inside. Habib Diarra curling one in. That was threatening as well. A header away by Maxime Esteve. And a big shout there from the Frenchman for his defenders to get out and form a line, which they do on the edge of the penalty area, because Sunderland are coming back again. Not a great ball this time towards Talbi. It had overrun him, and Kyle Walker will use the frame of his body to shepherd that one out for a goal kick. So early pressure exerted by the home side. No goals though after 4 minutes.
Yeah, just space opened up, didn't it, for Diarra. It was poor defensive shape for Burnley. No one getting out to Diarra, who was unable to cross. It was a poor cross in the end. Didn't actually pick anybody out, just fed it into an area. And Sunderland player not able to get on the end of it.
And so Dubravka kicking long from his goal kick. And the table makes for grim reading for Burnley. 19th place, but results have improved since New Year. Actually on their longest unbeaten run since promotion back to the Premier League. Turning draws into wins is the next challenge. Dubravka standing on the ball here. And no love for a former Newcastle man from the Sunderland supporters, as the Burnley stopper then grounds the ball and kicks long on the right boot. Bounces once over halfway, and it's Ballard back playing again regularly after his ankle injury at New Year, who sends it back to Robin Roofs. And Enzo Lefebvre, who's normally a man you see on the edge of an opposition box, has had to drop a long way deep there for Sunderland to try and start something on the edge of his area. In any event, they give the ball away, 0-0.
Yeah, a couple of times actually, though, he played in alongside Granit Xhaka a little deeper, so he's comfortable as well, just dropping, maybe allowing Siddiqui then to push forwards and press.
Burnley ball on halfway. No control though by Marcus Edwards, so important in attack this season. Won back by Siddiqui. Lefebvre out on his right foot, 20 yards inside the Burnley half. He'll have it back now and stand on it. Biding his time here. Mukiele was supporting, and now there are Sunderland men all down that right flank. Trey Hume was calling for it on the corner of the area. He'll get it now from Mukiele. Habib Diarra was the man overlapping, and Sunderland have to go back inside their own half because it's everybody behind the ball for Burnley at the moment. You said, Dean Ashton, they don't like the ball. Well, they've got the ball here. It's been given away to them in the centre circle. Flash forward by Ugo Chukwu. It was Florentino with the bleached blonde hair who won it back, launched into the Sunderland half. It is cleared, but at some cost because Nordi Mukiele, in clearing that ball, has slipped and gone down rather heavily on the far side touchline. He's okay. He's walked back into the centre of defence, but he's holding his groin there, or so it seems. It was straight away that he looked uncomfortable, and he would be a big man to miss.
Yeah, he would. Let's hope he can shake that off for Sunderland. But you know, both teams sitting off when the opposition have it, and again, they're just not used to having to maybe break down a defensive shape because they're normally the team defending.
Here is Florentino. Burnley coming forward now at 0-0, 45 yards out in central, whipped out to the left-hand side, might be a crossing opportunity here, all the while Foster waiting in the middle. It's Florentino on the edge of the attacking third, with his orange boots and his gloves. He hooks it back towards the centre circle for Axel Tuanzebe. Now near side the Burnley right for Kyle Walker, taking the time here still. Here is Bashir Humphreys in his blue shirt, looking up and seeing the blue shirt of Florentino. Developed now by Marcus Edwards and using Lucas Perez. Nice ball onto the flank here. Edwards it is by the byline. Men in the middle in blue, but he's put it straight at Roofs. First proper chance we've seen for Burnley there. And the man in goal is toasted by 3.5 sides of the Stadium of Light. Easy stuff for Robin Roofs, and it's 0-0 after 8 minutes.
Yeah, poor from Edwards, really. Plenty of time to pick out somebody in light blue, and he didn't. He picked out the goalkeeper. That's just poor because they worked it really nicely into Anthony and then spinning it round the corner to Edwards. Well, at this level, you've got to be able to try and pick a teammate out from a cross that's unchallenged.
Sunderland halfway then. Ballard it is. Short into Mukiele, who's moving a little freely now again. Trey Hume far side the Sunderland right, halfway inside the Burnley half. Good 1-2 here, and now Brian Robbie's coming forward into the area, and he's got support from Diarra, and Habib Diarra scores. Back into the 11 he goes, and the Senegal international has slotted home after 9 minutes. Sunderland lead Burnley by a 1-0 at the Stadium of Light. Waltzed into the area, and then waited for the moment to strike. And for Burnley, the inquest is beginning at the back, but it's Habib Diarra with the goal, and Sunderland have the advantage in this game.
Massive deflection in the end, but the football was excellent from Sunderland. Played into Brobbey. Excellent centre-forward play. Little outside of the right foot touch to Diarra, who then spun away from Esteve. And then as he just checks back, it comes off to Anzebe. He turns his back, hits his calves, and there's absolutely nothing Dubravka can do. He might have made the most saves, but he won't even get near that because of the deflection off to Tuanzebe.
Oh, it's a really awkward one for Axel Tuanzebe. His first ever Premier League goal last weekend. That one might well get chalked down as an own goal. The finish was... it was industrial, the way it pinged up off the defender, but the way that Habib Diarra created the chance and Brian Brobbey in back play certainly wasn't. He danced into the defence, having been set up by that cool back heel from his Dutch teammate, and then Habib Diarra striking against the calf of Axel Tuanzebe. Outsmarts the goalkeeper Dubravka, and with 10 minutes gone, Burnley, who haven't won since October, are behind, and now a long ball goes the way of Brian Brobby, right edge of the area, surrounded by blue defending shirts, and Bashir Humphreys has forced him away from goal. It looked like he might have been in there. Might still be a ball into the area where Lefay is waiting for it. Sunderland have gone all the way back to halfway again. Burnley, it feels, are on the ropes so early in this game. The side battling to keep their heads above water. They are rapidly sinking in this Premier League season, and they trail by a 1-0 already on Talksport 2, as Sunderland have forced back all the way back to Robin Roos.
Yeah, who is excellent with the ball at his feet, and he meant that ball over the top for Brobby. I just thought once he was away there, that's got to be out of the feet, and even if it means striking from distance as you're being caught, you can't waste that opportunity. Once he was in behind and allowed Humphreys to get back and just force him wide.
So Sunderland leading, and Roos clearing from in his 18-yard box up towards Brobby, who's in a battle there with a stave. Thought he was being held there, and he throws out two plaintive arms to the referee as Burnley try and mount a quick counter, and it was well followed there by Omar Alderete. And here comes Reynildo now, and he's racing over halfway, and ahead of him is Talby, 30 yards from the byline. Sunderland 1-0 up and looking for a second. Out to the left-hand side he goes, to be supported again by Reynildo. His cross was a good one, headed away by Humphreys, and cries of shoot on the edge of the area. Mukiele is not heeding them, and Trey Hume, the man who received it from him, will receive a free kick, having been barged into on the corner of the penalty area. And a chance now for Sunderland to go in search of that second goal. Lucas Perez, it was, giving away the foul.
Yeah, just riding off the back of the goal, aren't they? Sunderland, with that confidence, playing down the left-hand side. Talby and Reynaldo combining well. In a good position for a set play on the right-hand side. Maybe 10 yards deeper than the 18-yard line.
Well, there are some red and white shirts peppered in amongst the blue. Dan Ballard, an aerial presence up from the back. Neither of these teams have particularly excelled from dead ball situations this season. Here comes Sunderland from the right-hand side, swung in towards Brobby. Second header could be. Here's Florentino's tried to get it away. It's picked up on the edge of the area, and Mukiele going for goal, probably wishing he hadn't. He got right underneath the spear of the ball there, Nordi Mukiele, and he shanked it a good 20 yards over the crossbar. Sunderland have a goal in this game already. That could have been a second in the end, way off target.
No, he did well to get it away from danger, didn't he, Mukiele? Because it certainly didn't look like an attacking shot as he cut in on his right foot. It was very, very high, wide, and not particularly handsome, but a really good start from Sunderland. Obviously getting that goal and then trying to build on top of that.
It's this phrase I've never really understood, you know, Dean, high, wide and handsome, because shots that go high and wide are very rarely handsome. Either way, it's not a handsome lead, but it's an important one for Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. 13 and a half minutes gone as Alderete whips the ball forward looking for Brobby, who lost it there in the bounce but has won it back on the pressure from Florentino, edge of the penalty area, and then it was Ugo Chukwu who was racing back into the fence, who got the block away. Not a pretty passage of play for Burnley, but Sunderland have a throw on halfway and have taken it quickly. Wind at their backs now, and quite literally too, because it's right up behind them up here in the northeast. Windy and thankfully no longer wet Wearside, as Alderete on halfway rolls it into Reynildo. Sunderland 1-0 up thanks to Habib Diarra. It's been lost there though by Alderete. Now blue shirts coming forward. Marcus Edwards right edge of the penalty area, but the through ball was slightly overhit, and this one can be run away from the fence by Ballard, who was happy to run there, and the Sunderland fans were coaxing their man on. He's got it back again, and they look comfortable in possession at times, Sunderland.
Yeah, they do. Brilliant defending from Ballard, sensing the danger as they lost the ball, and Edwards' pass just was overhit towards Anthony. And they've got to do better when they do win the ball back, Burnley, if they are to get back into the game. Just a couple of times now they've given the ball away and allowed Sunderland then to hit them early, hit the ball over the top for Brobby, who's intelligent running, and the way he's bullying Esteve now a couple of times.
All given away by Burnley. Lefay's picked it up on the edge of the area. Diarra in the 18-yard box maybe could have got a shot away and hesitated a moment too long, and Florentino was able to win it back for Burnley, who now have a free kick as well for a trip on Jadon Anthony. That looked hairy for a moment.
Yeah, again, poor from Burnley, giving the ball away, allowing that opportunity for Diarra. Really, like you said, just to get the ball out of his feet and take the strike. Why not? You've just scored via a deflection, so have another go. Instead, he just took too long and the chance was gone, crowded out.
So here is Kyle Walker on the right foot, pinging a long ball downfield. It must have gone a good 70 yards. It's only going to go to Robin Roos, though, who comes out, collects, and then shadow boxes on the edge of his penalty area, makes to throw it, and then walks it back towards his penalty spot, and will play it flat along the ground to Siddiqui. Out to the right-hand side for Mukiele for Sunderland, leading by a 1-0 in this game. 16 minutes have gone. Back to Roos, who plays downfield on the left boot. Up towards Brobby, who can't win his header. It's been picked up behind him, though, by Lefay, who received from Hume. And now he has runners through the centre and down the right-hand side. Maybe a crossing opportunity, and bent in towards Talby, who was on the penalty spot and then diverted his run well to meet it, and then hooked it across the face of goal and out harmlessly for a goal kick. Still 1-0 Sunderland.
Yeah, seems a simple thing, doesn't it? But Lefay's pass down the line for Mukiele, the appreciation and the weight on the pass just means he doesn't have to check his stride. It means he can play it first time if he wants to, and he does. And he finds Talby, who tried to cushion it, which I thought was a strange decision. Rather than then trying to add power to it, he tried to cushion it towards the far post and got that wrong.
Does have a couple of goals this season. Shamsdeen Talby got his first minute since his AFCON return in the defeat against West Ham last time out. He and Habib Diarra tried from the start. That's worked well so far. Habib Diarra with the only goal in this game, of which we've played just over 17 minutes. It's Cameron Pope and Dean Ashton on Talksport 2. Over on Talksport, we've got our Deadline Day special. The Sports Bar will follow at 10 o'clock with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, as Sunderland play it out around the back, and then there was a wayward ball from Talby, who sent it all the way back into his defence and left too much for Ballard to do. He's actually hooked it out for a throw into Burnley, 20 yards from the corner flag, and so something out of nothing for Scott Parker's side. In from the start of last season. Last season a success, this one not so much, as Burnley looks set to return to the Championship at the first time of asking. It's Walker who plays it back towards halfway for Twanzebe. Helped out now by Ugachukwu, just 10 yards into the Sunderland half. And then running at the red and white shirts, plays it down into the flank for Lyle Foster here. And now Kyle Walker, tight to the touchline. Back it goes to Twanzebe, who's helped out by Florentino. And there's plenty of movement here for Burnley. The trouble is getting the ball out of the midfield third and into the front third. They'll try again with Florentino, right-footed cross. It hit Ballard, the first man, and then ricochets, fortunately for Sunderland, up towards Brian Brobby, who'll turn on halfway, tries to slip it in behind Habib Diarra. And when he's done so, the only problem now is that Diarra, the goal scorer, is isolated in red and white and has to go back towards Trey Hume, towards halfway. Forward to Mukiele. 19 minutes gone. Sunderland 1, Burnley 0. Pedestrian at times this game, but that's the benefit of the early goal, Dean Ashton. You can take the luxury of going it slow.
Yes, you can. And just trying to control the game and take it away from Burnley. Brobby has made such a great start against Esteve. It's almost as if now he's just putting him in his backpack as he manoeuvres him around the pitch and gets the ball into his chest and can then start to lead the counter-attacks for Sunderland.
Sunderland are going to take this throw in then, halfway inside the Burnley half. It will be Reynildo Mandava, one of the early returnees from the Africa Cup of Nations. Well, peruses his options, he's got a few of them, and in the end ends up going back into his own half for Ballard, who, chased by Lyle Foster, whips it along his defensive reaches towards Mukiele, who lets it pass his body, and then down the line towards Trey Hume. Taking their time here, Sunderland again. Lefay over halfway now. Trail of blue shirts behind him. Using Brobby. And now on halfway, still taking their time here, still looking for the right pass out of the Rete, and then a lovely bit of skill to get past Edwards, just work the ball around in. Same problem again though, with 11 men behind the ball. Sunderland are going to have to try and find a new way to play through Burnley. 1-0 they lead in this Monday night game on Talksport 2. As Roos, seemingly the only man who wasn't marked there, in a Sunderland shirt, accepts the ball on the edge of his penalty area. And it's away by Alderete up towards Brobby. Tall header of Esteve to get it away. And then bounces over the Sunderland man there, Reynildo. And Burnley can pick up the pieces once again in their own half, with Kyle Walker trailing by a goal to nil. You're listening to Sunderland versus Burnley on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. And don't forget that with Now, you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Sunderland versus Burnley, live right now. Search Now Sports. As at 1-0, it's Burnley's turn to pass it around the defence.
Yeah, but I think you can tell that Sunderland have just got that extra bit of creativity with Enzo Lefebvre in their side, and also willing runners actually, which seems obvious, but winning runners from midfield like Diarra beyond Brobby, trying to make it difficult.
And given away by Burnley again as Reynildo Mandava bundles forward. It was a heavy touch from Kyle Walker, and then he sensed it there, the Mozambique international. He saw a gap, raced into it, and then was quickly fouled by a challenge. And Burnley can start again with Florentino Luis. But a couple of stray balls you're seeing, Dean Ashton. A couple of mistakes, and they're the sort of mistakes you can't afford to make at any point, but especially when you haven't won since October. And that window of opportunity they've got, Burnley now staying up, well, on the night of windows closing, it is closing.
Yeah, it is, and obviously that's a lack of confidence, of course, but also a lack of quality within their side, which has been an issue.
And forward it comes to Marcus Edwards of Burnley. Felled by Nordi Mukiele, I thought fairly. The Sunderland fans thought fairly. And then the referee, Paul Tierney, seemed to take a moment before awarding the free kick to Burnley. So it's going to be 40 yards out. Marcus Edwards got there first, turned away from the man. And I think that's a little bit harsh there, Dean Ashton.
It's incredibly harsh because he wins the ball fairly against Edwards and then clashes shins and he goes over, but he'd won the ball fairly to start with.
So the free kick a little bit fortuitous there for Burnley and its awarding. Can they make the most of it now? 45 yards out in central, and then a plethora of blue shirts, sky blue, nestled in amongst the Sunderland red and white, waiting for this ball on the edge of the penalty area as Robin Roos motions to his defence exactly where he wants them. 23 minutes gone in this game, just the one goal, as Lucas Perez plays it to the only Burnley outfielder behind him in Kyle Walker. And the referee, well, what's he giving that for, Dean Ashton? He said they've got to go back and take it, and now it's a Sunderland ball. I was looking right at it and I don't understand it. Well, it was a Burnley free kick. It was played backwards there to Lucas Perez, from Lucas Perez to Kyle Walker. It went back then forward. The referee blows his whistle, and it's a Sunderland ball.
I think it must have just been for a free kick for some sort of holding, because where Roos actually took the free kick from was where I think the Burnley attacking line was. And obviously they played it short, and there'd already been a foul.
Well, it's very strange. I mean, we've got monitors in front of us here, high up in our commentary position. Still none the wiser. Either way, though, there's not much asking why, is there, in football? And Sunderland only too happy, having conceded what they thought was a soft free kick, to take one of their own as Scott Parker comes out into his technical area, arms folded, looking to mastermind a resurgence that seems further and further away as the weeks continue to pass. Gut-wrenching, the late concession against Tottenham last time out, to see 3 points turn into one. Draws against Burnley and Manchester United in recent weeks as well, with that pummelling of Millwall in the FA Cup, but a win in the Premier League is what they most covet. Here's Kyle Walker on halfway with his side trailing by a goal to nil. Ugo Chukwu across his defence now, and well, they're still having to work doubly hard, Burnley, to find a way through. Florentino Luis has come all the way back into his own half here, and as his side trail, it's finding a pass into the midfield third that's been the problem. Here comes Marcus Edwards having to drop further and further back. As Kyle Walker switching from right to left, taken out of the air by Lucas Perez, sending it back towards halfway. Maxim Estev picking it up. Extended period of possession here for Burnley. Still, Dean Ashton unable to do anything with it.
Well, you won't if you don't try and play it through into your attacking players, which you haven't, and then Tuanzebe just passes it straight past Kyle Walker and out of play. It's frustrating to watch if you're a Burnley supporter, because you want those attacking players to get on the ball, get on the half turn. Marcus Edwards and Anthony, you'd want on the ball. They've not been able to. And again, it's predictable. If you keep playing it from centre-back to centre-back to full-back to centre-back, well, Sunderland will just get into that great defensive position. It'll be so hard to break down.
Well, 1,900 travelling supporters from Lancashire. It's 5 hours each way up to the northeast, looking for a first league double over Sunderland since the early 70s. And at the moment it feels a long way away. They won in August at Turf Moor. They're behind in this game by a 0-0. We've had 26 minutes, and here is Reynildo for Sunderland. Up towards halfway, takes the 1-2 and now towards Talby, who tries a back heel there through the legs of Kyle Walker. It's then blocked out of play by Ugochukwu, and Sunderland have a throw directly on the half to be taken by Reynildo. Blue boots. He's not gone for the gloves tonight. Puts his glove free hands behind his head and picks out Lefay, his nearest man, then tries to juggle ahead of Ugochukwu before playing it into his onrushing body. And it's out for a Sunderland throw. And again, it's yet to spark into life, Dean Ashton. It's not been one of those Monday night blockbusters.
I think obviously Burnley are just struggling for confidence and quality. When they've had the ball, they've struggled to really create, yet to have an attempt at all. Whereas Sunderland, you can tell they're having a good season. There's a bit more about their players in terms of trying things. A couple of flicks here and there that have just opened Burnley up. Well, that comes again from having that belief and confidence to try those things.
Well, Mukiele's ball to try and find Hume was dispossessed there by Lucas Perez, who in turn couldn't find a Burnley man from his ball on halfway. And so near side the Sunderland left, it's Reynildo putting the pressure by Marcus Edwards, who's doing plenty of running there. Ball's gone past him though and up towards Shemsdean Talby, corner of the area. Sunderland leading, cut back towards the edge of the box for Lefay. Now the goal scorer Habib Diarra. Wider still to Mukiele as Florentino flies into a challenge but is unsuccessful in winning back from Habib Diarra. And Siddiqui out to the right hand side for Lefay. Sunderland still attacking. 1-0 up they are on Talksport 2. Burnley again with 11 behind the ball, again sending Sunderland back to halfway as Ballard plots his next option. It is to find Hume, tight to that right touchline, where the ball will go further down towards Mukiele, who slips on it, gives it away, and it's a Burnley throw.
Yeah, Enzo Lefay is the difference though. He's the one that's trying to just find that space, half turn, got a picture in his mind as soon as he receives the ball of where his teammates are, and just giving that extra bit of quality in this game so far.
Well, he had goals in back-to-back games leading into last weekend. Enzo Lefay, his side have given it away now though. Burnley on halfway, one behind in this game. Half an hour mark rapidly approaching as Kyle Walker collects it near side the Burnley right, 20 yards from the corner flag. Tackle from Lefay, who got there ahead of Florentino, then presented it straight to him. His block could only ricochet through to Roos though, who tries to play up long towards Brobby, who threw his arms up there at the referee as if to say he was being held by Stev. He was backed by Sunderland fans plaintively calling on Paul Tierney. Nothing was given, and Burnley, who in the last few minutes are starting to see a little bit more of the ball in the midfield, and maybe they're growing in this game. Still nothing to show for it though. Just that one half chance that they had. Marcus Edwards' cross that with Lyle Foster in the middle went straight into the hands of Robin Roos. It's a deflective goal from Habib Diarra in this game so far that separates us with 29 and a half minutes gone. A thunderous tackle to win that ball back from Ballard. Forward to the edge of the area. Now the turn from Brobby. Went down but got the ball to Talby in the 18-yard box. Back to Lefay, shaping for the shot. Put it straight down the middle. Dubravka saw it early and an easy stop for him. 1-0 it remains.
Yeah, but again, you know, you can just play that into the feet of Brobby. He's got the beating of Estev. Did really well to eventually find Talby and then to Lefay, and you think, here we go, edge of the area, all the quality that he's got. Not the best attempt. decent enough in terms of power, but bouncing and straight into Dubravka's hands.
So 1-0 Sunderland. It's going to be a free kick to Burnley, near side there, right, with Jayden Anthony having been fouled tight to the touchline by Reynildo Mandava. So it will be a free kick to be taken by Kyle Walker. And again, several blue-shirted players he's got to aim for, all clustered around the 18-yard box. You can see Naxel Tuanzebe with his bright orange boots coming up from the back. Leslie Ugochukwu is just behind him. Real mix of shapes and sizes. It's going to go short anyway, and backwards once again to Lucas Pires. Floats the ball into the area. Too deep though. It's an awful set play from Burnley. They were looking for Bashir Humphreys. He saw that ball soar over his head. Out for a goal kick. It's currently Sunderland 1, Burnley 0, and for the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport 2's Premier League coverage. Where you're at right now, you can get Sunderland to win at 3-10. The draw is 18-5 and the Burnley win is 10-1. That's all thanks to William Hill. 18+ gambleaware.org. As Sunderland are gifted the ball back again. Lefay edge of the centre circle, turning right foot from his own half, whipping it out towards Mukiele, out to the right-hand side, and he's got men in the middle in red and white shirts, looking for Diarra, gets the rebound and it's in, and Habib Diarra has got a second goal. Martin Dubravka got something on it. It took a piece of the post with it, he couldn't keep it out. Deflection, playing it into the path of Habib Diarra, and Sunderland, after half an hour in this game, have doubled their lead.
And it was Enzo Lefay that started everything. His little shimmy, as if he was going to take it on the back foot, just chopped it onto his right foot, found Mukiele in so much space, in behind Humphreys, gets the ball out of his feet, and he does the right thing. He's trying to cut that back to Diarra. Florentino it was that slid in and didn't get enough on it. Fell beautifully for Diarra, just a swivel strike, and Dubravka, as good as he's been this season, ends up patting it into the back of the net. The power was decent, not strong enough really to beat him from there, but didn't get the right contact on his gloves. And Diarra gets his second.
Well, in real time, I wondered there if Dubravka might have seen it late. He doesn't. He sees it coming right at him. He can't react quick enough, and it's palmed then off the back edge of the post and into the net. And Habib Diarra, who hadn't scored for Sunderland before this game, has now got 2 in the first half. And Burnley, well, it is a steep gradient now that they are facing. Just 3 wins in the Premier League this season, none of them since October, and they are 2 goals behind in this one. There's still 12 minutes to go until half-time, and Sunderland are set to go above Newcastle and into 8th place in the Premier League.
Yeah, and I'm going to go on about Enzo Lefay because it's the detail that's so critical at this level. The ball went into him in midfield. Mukiele's got all the space, but if Enzo Lefay doesn't chop back, if he lets it run across his body and plays it out towards Reynildo, then that opportunity's gone. He doesn't. He chops back. He's got the vision to play it quickly, and that opens the game up and the attack up for Sunderland. It's that bit of quality we talk about in the Premier League that you need. Burnley lacking plenty of it in the Sunderland team.
Well, no smile just yet, I noticed, from Regis Lebris, who's come out to the edge of his technical area, right down far below us, and he's belting out instructions with his Sunderland jacket on. Scott Parker, 20 yards to his right, looking a little bit more pensive with his arms behind his back. Clasped as his side trail 2-0 at the Stadium of Light on Talksport 2. Florentino in the air for the header. Won the first one and then lost the second one against Habib Diarra, the man he deflected the ball to for that second goal. Sunderland come forward again. They have a throw in far side there, right, 20 yards inside the Burnley half, as they look to get a third before half time, and if not already, wrap this game up.
Yeah, I mean, considering these two sides came up from the Championship together, it's amazing the golfing class between the two of them, and confidence and how the season's gone. It's incredible, really.
Well, Lyle Foster coming to win the ball back just inside his own half. A firm challenge, and he has got it as well, and he's got supporting cast members up with him now. Lucas Pires is joining, crossing to the penalty area, all the way to the back post. Awkward deflection there of Reynildo, and Sunderland managed to get the ball clear under siege for the first time in this game. Talby has let it run away from him on halfway, and for the first time there, the Sunderland defence at 2-0 up, 10 minutes out from the half, looked a little bit stretched. They'll deal with the second ball better, a long punt forward, and Ballard heads it away. Coming forward again down the left-hand side of Burnley, deep inside the Sunderland half now. The ball forward from Florentino, threaded into the area, looking for Marcus Edwards. Deflected behind for a corner. A lot to break down there, but for the whole time during that passage of play, Nordi Mukiele went down and remained down from that initial challenge with Lyle Foster, and he looks hurt here, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, he does, but the referee doesn't have to stop it. He can recognise that it wasn't a head injury and allow play to continue. Burnley trying to take advantage of that, and again it just shows simplicity sometimes in the way that you attack. The ball down the left twice, decent delivery in, dangerous for Sunderland to try and defend those. Reynildo trying to almost control it in his area, and Alderete helping him out, and then Alderete putting it behind for the corner when Pires had put a decent ball in second time around.
Well, there is treatment ongoing here for the stricken Nordi Mukiele, who is an important man for Sunderland, won many admirers this season, and came into the side in the first month and hasn't left really. The man in from Paris Saint-Germain, not bad there, £12 million. You're listening to Sunderland versus Burnley on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. As Burnley look as if they might be here for defeat. And there is some real concern here, though, for Nordi Mukiele. He's gone down inside the Burnley half of the field, around about 10 yards over halfway, where he was clocked by Lyle Foster initially. He is now back up on his feet, so he's going to be sent off on the far side, the nearest side. For the moment, then, Sunderland will play with 10. They lead by 2, and Burnley, who've had to wait a long time here to take this corner, can now go in search of the first goal in this game for them, and possibly a lifeline.
Well, in search of an attempt would be a start. They've given absolutely nothing. 0 shots, 0 XG, XGR, you name it, there's just 0.
So in other words, we're expecting a goal here as the corner comes in from the left-hand side. That's what we're waiting on. Referee Paul Tierney has finally given us the all clear, so 11 against 10 for the moment. Bent in far side the left, straight at Enzo Lefebvre. Poor corner, and picked up by Kyle Walker in the 18-yard box. And then an offside flag after all that. Well, it was whipped out to the left-hand side. Jayden Nancy with a poor corner, didn't get himself back on side. Adrian Durham is shaking his head away to my right. Oh, it's a mess from Burnley, quite frankly. 37 minutes gone, and they trail Sunderland by 2-0. At this rate, it might as well be 6.
Yeah, exactly. If only they had a player in their squad that could deliver a set piece, that would really come in handy anytime soon, because they've had a few now and made absolutely nothing from them. And he was disgusted with his own delivery there, Anthony, and because of that he then didn't switch on and get himself back on side.
So a free kick it will be for Robin Roofs to take. Dean referring there, of course, to James Ward-Prowse on the bench. A debutant in waiting for Scott Parker, on loan until the end of the season from West Ham United. A dead ball sorcerer, but hasn't played a lot of football in what we've had of this Premier League season. May we see him in the second half, which at the moment is 7 minutes away, the half-time whistle. Just whatever added time Paul Tierney sees fit. As Nordi Mukiele is back on now, by the way, so it is 11 versus 11 once again. We lost him in that fracas of a penalty of a corner from Burnley, as they ready themselves for a throw in which they do take better on halfway from the hands of Kyle Walker to the feet of Ugo Chukwu. It's 2-0 to Sunderland on Talksport 2. Deadline Day special over on Talksport right now. And don't forget, tomorrow, Arsenal versus Chelsea. 3-2 to the Gunners in the first leg. The second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final will also have Portsmouth Ipswich. Those on Talksport and Talksport 2 respectively, as Sunderland for the first time been made to do a little bit of defending in this game. They are doing it with a degree of comfort though, Lucas Perez back into his defence as Bashir Humphries stands on it, foot on ball, sends it back the way it came. Now pressure coming back his way in the form of Diarra, who's on a hat-trick, don't forget, and he'll run this all the way down to the goalkeeper, Dubravka on the right foot. Played it long out towards Kyle Walker, who was already running at, I think, about 20 miles an hour when he got that, and so sent the ball spiralling back off his chest into his own defence, from which Burnley can build in the centre circle. Florentino, his side, 2 goals down as it works its way forward to Lucas Perez. Far side the Burnley left. Florentino again now, back into his defence. It's all a bit predictable, Dean. It's all a bit the same.
Yeah, I think what I've noticed about Burnley in particular is they've caught the modern disease, which is when you get wide and there's a great crossing opportunity, they turn back and play backwards. I find it really
strange. Crosses the antidote, and it was bent in towards Lyle Foster. Second ball coming through. Lucas Perez, I think it was, far side the left there, who finally did whip one in as if called upon by Dean Ashton. Nothing from it though, and here's Reynildo for Sunderland on halfway. Gets his head up and tries a crossfield ball. It was a tad ambitious, but he has found Trey Hume. Sunderland 2-0 up in this game, 41 minutes played, and Burnley yet to have a proper chance on goal.
Yeah, but again, look, the cross in wasn't incredible, but actually the header down then fell to the edge of the area to Edwards, who, if he'd have taken a better touch, could have then had a strike at goal. So you're not going to score the perfect goal all of the time. Sometimes it's going to take, you know, a decent cross in, maybe a deflection, it falling for one of your teammates. It's just so frustrating, I think, for supporters when you see a player get down the line. It's a great opportunity, but instead they turn back and play back to their fullback, and it ends up probably back at their own goalkeeper. It's sometimes you've got to take that on yourself as a player to recognise when it's a good time to play it into the area for your forwards.
Well, indeed, it's something we've not seen a lot of. Sunderland 2, Burnley 0, half-time fast approaching. 3 minutes left of normal time as Ugachukwu turns, plays over halfway towards Marcus Edwards, who was confident he'd been fouled there because he grabbed the ball before it even hit the ground, following the challenge from behind him by Reynildo. Taken quickly by Burnley. Walked forward by Edwards rather than running. Now he breaks into a sprint down the right-hand side. Back towards Walker, away from goal. Still 30 yards out from Roofs' net here. Burnley looking to test him for the first time in this game. Esteve out to the left-hand side with Humphries, and now Perez cutting back inside in those yellow boots, set up by Trey Hume. This is better by Burnley. Ugachukwu central, turning back towards halfway. Now to the near side right for Burnley with Kyle Walker. Along the ground, turning it, looking for the 1-2 there. Couldn't find Ugachukwu. Here he comes, a second time of asking, threads a ball towards the edge of the area for Anthony, and then the tackle came in, well timed there by Enzo Lefebvre, who will gather on the touchline and lose it in the standoff with Walker. With Burnley coming forward again, we're starting to see them pass the ball a bit more with 2 minutes left in the first half. They're giving it away in the centre circle, however. Hume forward towards Lefebvre, miscontrol from him. Tuanzebe will take it back. It remains Sunderland 2, Burnley 0.
Yeah, a couple of loose touches, wasn't it, from Lefebvre? But again, he's really impressed me in taking on that Xhaka role almost, in trying to dictate the tempo for Sunderland.
Here comes Ugachukwu. Will there be a change in the tempo here? Final minutes of this first period that's overwhelmingly gone in Sunderland's favour. Ball bypasses Tuanzebe near side the Burnley right. They're about 30 yards from the corner flag. And taking it in was Edwards, wearing dirt all the way down one side of his kit. Out to the left-hand side now it goes with Burnley still attacking. Ugachukwu, 35 yards out from goal now. Threaded forward by Bashir Humphries. Perez in from the left flank, still away from goal though. Florentino's pass out to the left-hand side again. Bashir Humphries up against Hume. Corner of the area, plays it into the channel. Well, maybe the right idea, the wrong execution though. It evades the blue shirts in the penalty area and into the hands of Robin Roos. Sunderland 2-0. He's taking his time here to release the ball. He will claim that Lyle Foster was too close to him, just doing what strikers do there, making the goalkeeper a little bit uncomfortable as he's trying to release.
Oh, what a touch that is, though, from Trey Hume.
Oh, it's gone long, and Trey Hume has flicked it down the line, looking for Diarra, who was already advancing towards the penalty area. Free kick and a yellow card. And, well, you'd have to say he deserved one there. I can't say there'll be many complaints. Habib Diarra was trying to get forward, found himself wrestled down to the ground when he was quickly getting towards the penalty area, and Leslie Ugochukwu it was who will be the first name in Paul Tierney's notebook.
Yeah, it was just that extra tug of the shirt from Ugochukwu that brought the yellow card. Diarra was just too strong on the other side of the midfield player.
As we move into 4 minutes, by the way, of added time, and there is a chance now for Sunderland to get a third. This game, well in their control, and this could see them sign off as good as on the win, with a whole half yet to play, trying to rise to 8th in the Premier League. Trey Hume outside the penalty area on the right, whipping it in. Twanzebe's header half away, scramble in front of the goalkeeper, and then Dubravka sees it drop right in front of him. There were a few mute shouts there from Sunderland fans for a handball. Dubravka wasn't hanging around and bowls it out towards Walker on halfway. More frantic defending from Burnley. This time they've come away without conceding.
Yeah, again, it's just causing that panic, isn't it? In the penalty, I think there was a push in there anyway from Diarra, and then no way that was going to be a handball.
So Burnley, with 3 minutes of added time remaining at their disposal, still looking for a first test for Robin Roos. Played forward by Walker. Edwards collecting on the edge of the box, but found his pass blocked by Mukiele, and now those two will enter into battle further out towards the touchline. Mukiele sent the Burnley man down to ground, but cleanly, said referee Tierney. Turning back towards his own goal, though, is Diarra, sensing that Florentino was behind him, and Sunderland play their way out of the hole again, up towards Brobby, turning, twisting out to the right-hand side. Now Sunderland are turning on the style. Talby it was who switched over onto that right flank, spinning and passing back into his own territory. Here comes Reynildo, near side the Sunderland left, 30 yards from the corner flag. Back towards halfway it'll go. Sunderland comfortable at 2-0 in this game. Out to Mukiele on halfway. They're not going to force the issue here, and sent back deep into the defence.
No, but they've been a good watch, Sunderland. They really have. Couldn't say that often this season in terms of when they have possession, but because they've been given a bit more of that possession by Burnley, they're starting to show their quality. They've been enjoyable to watch when they've attacked.
As here comes Habib Diarra, the man with both of the goals in this half. Flicks it to the left-hand side. Over halfway is coming Reynildo. And now to Talby, turning inside onto his right as he loves to do. Reynildo sent back away from goal. Habib Diarra, nobody in blue around him. Burnley are all defending. Finally, Foster comes out to try and close down. Dan Ballard whipping one out to the right-hand side for Mukiele. Still 40 yards from the corner flag as Hume finds his ball blocked. And Jayden Anthony was chasing him down towards halfway. And so he takes some solace in finding Robin Roos. Sunderland will start again with 1 minute of the 4 added remaining. Siddiqui, centre circle, sharing passes with Enzo Lefebvre. They can just walk the ball around at the moment, Dean. It's so comfortable for them.
Yeah, and again, it's just that same sort of feeling for Burnley that they've had so often this season. Without a win for so long, you struggle to find the motivation once you're 2-0 down. But
Ugochukwu has won it back from a stray ball on halfway, out to the left-hand side for Anthony, and a cross came in towards the near post. It only hits the outside netting, though, and frustration is the key buzzword, I think, of this first half of Burnley. They were coming forward with decent numbers, well won back there by Ugochukwu, and then with blue shirts in the middle, the ball slipped into the channel and then wide of the post, and harmless in the end to Robin Roos.
Yeah, but it was a positive underlapping run from Pires from that left-hand side. No reason why he can't, when they get good possession, try a bit like Mukiele for Sunderland, drive down the side, try and make yourself free. Cross, of course, into the side netting, though, under pressure.
So that's the end of the 4 minutes. Robin Roos kicks for the sky, and the referee blows for half-time. Rousing applause from Sunderland supporters. They lead by 2-0. Both of them scored by Habib Diarra. Well on top in this game. It's been pedestrian, it's been comfortable. They were 1 up inside 10 minutes. It was 2-0 on the half-hour mark, and Burnley, well, it's a mountain to climb. That's a phrase used so often in football parlance, but it's the only apt one at half-time in this game, Dean Ashton.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, Sunderland have just been so comfortable and so impressive, and a great watch.
Dean, thank you very much. Cameron Pope, thank you very much. I've got to say, that's shameful from Burnley, that first half. It's almost a sackable offence for Scott Parker. He's sloped into the dressing room. There's going to be some miracle team talk if they're going to come out and rescue this. Anybody would think they were safe in mid-table. They've just not turned up. They've been absolutely dreadful. And we'll talk about them in a minute, Dean. I want to talk about Enzo Lefebvre, because I'm with you. He's a joy to watch, worth paying the money to see. 25 years old, cost 20 million. His loan from Roma made permanent in the summer. And I'll give you a brief biographical. He's had a tough life, and his dad spent time in jail. His dad ended up taking his own life. Yet through all of that, Enzo Lefebvre made it as a professional footballer, which, as you know, is not easy. We've seen a crunching tackle from him towards half-time. We've seen him try risky touches and passes, some of which haven't come off, but they're entertaining the crowd, which is what he's there for. And we've also seen him run the game. Lefebvre actually means fairy, if you translate it from the French, and he's sprinkling some magic on this pitch tonight, isn't he?
He is. Look, he's been brilliant to watch. I've really enjoyed his performance, and you know, when he first came from Roma, you thought, wow, what a, you know, and there was a lot about him, the talent that he was going to bring to this football club. You thought, how have they got this player to come to Sunderland in the Championship? Well, I think the manager had played a big part, and you thought, is it all that? Is he all that? And he is, and he's just growing. And it's almost like we've gone to the Premier League, and it's like, actually, yeah, this is my stage. I can really show you just how good I am. And he slightly tweaked his position. Was playing out wide quite a bit last season. A lot more centrally, a lot more involved. Can go deeper. Has played alongside Xhaka as well, but just looks like the game is a lot slower for him than it is for everyone else. That's what it looks like to me watching, and even at this level you can tell those players that are above everybody else, and he is.
As an old coach once told me, he has so much time because he takes his time. It's exactly what he does. You're right, it looks like he's got so much more time than anybody else. Listen, Habib Diarra's got both the goals so far. He'll owe something to Brian Brobby in the midst of that, as well as Enzo Lefebvre and others. But I think Brobby is a centre forward. You tell me. I mean, he just looks like he's doing the job superbly.
Well, in the way that a centre forward, a number 9, has to play these days, where you have to do so much unselfish work, he does it brilliantly. Now, if they get it too high to him, then Esteve has won a few headers. You get it in towards his chest or his thigh or his feet. He's just been manipulating Esteve wherever he wants because of his physicality. He's that willing runner when anyone's under pressure in the Sunderland defence. They can look up, and he's making those arcing runs in behind. He's kind of giving you that all-round performance that you've got to give, and almost to the detriment of his own opportunities. He hasn't really had a sight at goal because he's having to do the work for others to then find space.
20 million, Brobby, and if the Burnley recruitment team are watching, just take note. Let's talk about how bad Burnley are then. Their fans are fuming, by the way, because their set pieces, as we know, a couple of free kicks have been absolutely dreadful. A corner has been absolutely dreadful as well, Dean. I'm puzzled, really. I mean, everybody really likes Scott Parker, but what's that all about? What's he been doing all week?
I think he'll be so disappointed. He won't accept that. He won't. You know, this is the type of half where I can imagine him going in. I can actually picture the venom coming out of his face. Because we've been on the end of it a few times.
He'll be fuming, will he?
He will, because there's one thing maybe not having the quality. There'll be another thing, as Cameron was talking about just at the end, all the time in the world for Sunderland. Just, no, that can't. I'm sorry, that can't happen. I know you've got to get into a defensive shape, but there's got to be some urgency about wanting to win the ball back when you're in a relegation battle. There has to be, and that's what will really irk him.
Yeah, I think so as well. Dan Ballard, by the way, what a turn of pace. I didn't know he had that. It's unbelievable. He's beaten Jaden Anthony to the ball when he had no chance of getting there first. Incredible.
But I like to see that in a defender, and the crowd like to see that as well, because what you notice when Dan Ballard gets on the ball, there's a throb of noise that comes from Sunderland fans, and they've lost a few of the names that have helped them build back from that low ebb that they were in League One, but you know, so pivotal he was in the playoffs to get them here in the first place, and they love to see that, don't they? You know, it's he plays with passion in a way. And why shouldn't a centre-half run through 20 yards and take it on, especially when Burnley are going to stand and give you so much room? And so much of football now is played in neat lines and almost played on a manager's whiteboard, isn't it? But he kind of bucks that trend, and that's why he gets some on the goals as well.
Yeah, but I thought he was slow.
Yeah, I thought that.
It just seems in the way he sometimes plays in other areas. I thought he wasn't that quick. So,
well, in fairness, he's not had to move much.
No, he hasn't. No, you're right.
This half. He's probably keeping warm, if anything.
It's the easiest first half Sunderland have had all season. I was here for the first day against West Ham. Easier than that. Honestly, Burnley have been absolutely dreadful. On that evidence, they've got no chance of survival. It's been easy. Live on Talksport 2, Sunderland 2, Burnley 0.
Your live sports station.
Oh, what a move. This is Talksport 2.
Game day live on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Sunderland versus Burnley live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
It's another day at Screwfix, and Sir Mo Farah is still getting to grips with things.
So, Mo, with Sprint Delivery, we get the order to them in as little as 20 minutes. Okay? Mo? Mo?
Done. He was on the 18th floor.
Nice work. But, you know we use delivery riders, right?
Oh, now you tell me.
Sprint it in as little as 20 minutes. Screwfix. No stopping you. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply.
Hear that? It's your big McDonald's hunger calling. Because the Big Arch is back. And this time, it's here to stay. With juicy beef, cheddar cheese, and that Big Arch sauce. Hungry? You are now. Order delivery on the McDonald's app. Serve from 11 a.m. Upcharges and fees apply to delivery orders. Subject to availability, price and participation may vary.
Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone with stadium-style seating, amazing views on huge screens, and we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles the burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there! His favourite ice-cold beer. What a result! Catch every game live in the Pub and Grill at Village. Get in! Find out more at villagehotels.com.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
The beautiful game doesn't stop at the final whistle, and neither does the sun.co.uk. So you can go beyond the last kick with expert insight into the big moments and in-depth analysis of tactics, plus the latest breaking news and exclusives. And you can get it whenever and wherever you want it. To keep up with every kick, just head to thesun.co.uk. It's unbeatable.
Imagine a place where you can escape for a day. Get immersed in a world of rooms, inspiration and expertise. Where you can laze in luxury accommodation. And kids can feast from 95 pence. Tickets are free to everyone and include all the attractions. You've just imagined a day out at IKEA. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Game day exclusive on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
I say, it's a well-to-do Wednesday night of live League Cup football on Talksport. The chaps of Manchester City, Pip take on the chaps of Newcastle. Big match bravado and build-up begins at 7 with kick-off 8 p.m. sharp. It's a splendiferous Wednesday night of live League Cup football on the nation's favourite Talksport.
On DAB+, online, via the Talksport app, and on your smart speaker. Kickoff, live.
Slide tackling, spontaneous football and fury.
Get stuck in the thoroughly world-famous Kickoff. Readily discursive and totally immersive.
Award-winning live football commentary.
Kickoff, live on Talksport 2.
Live and exclusive on Talksport 2, it's Premier League commentary of Sunderland 2, Burnley nil. Big half time for Scott Parker. It's got to be a big second half for Burnley. Tomorrow night, Talksport brings you live Carabao Cup semi-final second leg action as Arsenal host Chelsea. Let's hear now from both managers, Liam Rosenior. First, Mikel Arteta.
Well, I mean, every team has his own things. I think Liam is doing an incredible job so far in different competitions as well. And tomorrow, the tie has a context, which is very specific when you talk about a tie. That's the fact that we play at home and we have the advantage, but that we need to now make it very concrete in the manner that we approach the game certainly tomorrow to win it.
Players are showing me that they're engaged. The players who are so important and frustrated not to start games are all coming on and having an impact. The reality is Arsenal are favourites for the tie. They're a goal up and they're at home, so they'll expect to go through. We need to take it as far as we can and as deep as we can, and then the second half hopefully will be massive in terms of turning the tie around.
There you go, that's both managers. Arsenal lead 3-2 from the first leg. Join me on Arteta's fun bus at the Emirates tomorrow night from 7 on Talksport. Chelsea have won every game since that first leg defeat to the Gunners. And then on Wednesday, Man City Newcastle is live on Talksport. Another Carabao Cup semi-final second leg. City 2 up from the first leg. Sam Matfay, Stuart Pearce on commentary for that one. Let me remind you what's happened in the on transfer deadline day today. Jürgen Strand Larsen signed for Palace from Wolves for £48 million. He scored 1 goal this season. Luca Netz, fullback from Borussia Mönchengladbach, has signed for Nottingham Forest. And a couple of moves involving Sunderland players. Simon Adingra has left Sunderland for Monaco on loan, and Adil Aouchiche has joined Schalke from Sunderland on a permanent deal. And Talksport 2, your station for the EFL. We've got Charlton, QPR, London Derby commentary Friday night on Talksport 2. Derby Ipswich Saturday lunchtime, Coventry Oxford Saturday afternoon. Monday night, Sheffield United against Middlesbrough, all on Talksport 2. One of the biggest bits of news on deadline day from Middlesbrough was that Hayden Hackney has stayed at the club. Nottingham Forest put in a bid that was rejected. He is still a Borough player, still their talisman. There have been some EFL transfers on deadline day. Let me run you through a few of them. Portsmouth have picked up Jacob Brown from Luton on loan. Johnny Kenny's gone from Celtic to League One promotion chasers Bolton. Also chasing promotion to the Championship at Huddersfield, who've signed Wrexham's Ryan Hardy. Wrexham themselves have signed Barnsley's top scorer Davies Keeler-Dunn. Louis Barry back at Stockport on loan from Villa. Former England midfielder Calvin Phillips has joined Sheffield United on loan from Manchester City. Blades have taken Joe Rothwell from Rangers as well. And one I told you about on Saturday's Game Day Live has now happened. Brentford's Frank Onyeka has joined Coventry City. Birmingham have taken the former Coventry defender Jonathan Panzo. Bristol City have signed Slovenian midfielder Tommy Horvat on a 4.5-year deal. And playoff chasing Derby have taken left-sided player Derry Merkin from Utrecht on a permanent. Owen Beck was at Derby, but he's gone back to Liverpool after an injury. So Merkin brought in to replace him. And we need to clear up the little teaser I set you earlier, the free kick teaser. So David Beckham holds the record for 18 free kick goals in the Premier League era. James Ward-Prowse on the bench for Burnley. I'm expecting to see him second half. He's second on 17. Only one other current player is in the top 10. Anybody know who it is? Dean Ashton, Cameron Pope, your collective football brains together surely have come up with at least a decent guess.
And I'm really scratching my head here. I just don't know who can rival him. That when I think of set pieces, I think of James Ward-Prowse.
I mean, it's got to be somebody that's been around a while, obviously.
So we're thinking 30 plus, probably, maybe?
Yes. Can we figure this out? Manchester City.
I'm going to have to give you the answer.
They're in the Premier League now.
They're in the Premier League now.
in the Premier League now.
Do you want a massive clue? They haven't played this season.
Oh.
What, Calvin Phillips?
No. James Maddison. I love that response.
Well, there you go.
And 2 former Sunderland players are in the top 10 free kick goal scorers in the Premier League era. Any ideas? Anybody?
Now, if I didn't get the first one, I'm really going to struggle to get the second.
It's not Super Kev, is it?
No. It is Seb Larson and Ian Hart, who only had 8 games at Sunderland, but he was a Sunderland player. There you go. I hope some of you got that right. The players are back out for the second half. Let's hope Burnley turn up for this second half. Sunderland 2, Burnley 0. Here's your second half, live and exclusive from the Premier League on Talksport 2 with Dean Ashton and Cameron Pope.
Thank you, Adrian. Burnley need a change in the scoreline. They're making a change in personnel. Axel Twanzebe is coming off. He won't come out for the second half. And Josh Laurent, Dean Ashton, has been brought into the 11. They need 2 goals in this second half, and they were way off the pace in that first 45.
Yes, they were, and I think they might have just slightly tweaked the system. At times they looked like they had 3 at the back. I think they've gone to 4 extra man in midfield to try and get some kind of grip on the game.
Well, let's see if it pans out that way then. Sunderland 2, Burnley 0 in your Monday night Talksport 2 offering. Sunderland with Roos in goal, Mukiele, Ballard, Alderete at the back with Reynildo and Hume, the wide men, Siddiqui, and 2-goal Habib Diarra in the middle behind Lafay, Talbi and Brobby. And as for Burnley, Dubravka in goal. Been by far the busiest. Not a shining night for him after some of what we've seen from him this season. So it's Kyle Walker and Lucas Pires, the full-backs around Humphreys and Esteve. Laurent will go into midfield with Ugochukwu and Florentino as this side come forward here with Marcus Edwards looking for Lyle Foster and Anthony in the middle, trying to turn, couldn't get a cross away. It is a corner, and already, Dean, that's a better start from the away side.
Yeah, well, I think it was obvious as well in that midfield area. Lafay was dominating alongside Siddiqui and Diarra, so just trying to put that extra player, Laurent, in midfield, just to try and win a few more battles in there.
So a corner to Burnley, far side there right. And a few blue shirts in the midst, in the middle, looking for Laurent. It was at the back post, headed away by a strong defensive header, and it's allowed to run by Marcus Edwards, far side the Burnley right. Back in towards halfway it goes, with Walker standing on it and rolling it forward to Florentino. And this time it's Sunderland with 11 men behind the ball. We're not used to seeing that in the way they played in that first half. Should be re-entering the Premier League top 8 tonight, as a poor Burnley ball forward is cleared without too much issue, and Talbi comes forward, and already he's got past his man, and he's burning towards the corner flag here, Talbi. Walker with his pace has got across to him. He will get a cross in, the Sunderland man, but it's too little too late in the end. He was about to cross the whitewash, and then the ball certainly did as he tried to swing it in towards the goalkeeper. So goal kick for Burnley. They trail by 2 unanswered goals.
Well, we didn't see that in the first half, did we, from Talbi, who's pretty rapid against Walker, but he saw the opportunity to go at Laurent and get the beating of him. Unfortunate for him, Kyle Walker spotted it and got back with his pace.
Well, once Kyle Walker sees you, you only have a certain amount of time in which to act. Here comes Jayden Anthony for Burnley, needing a response down the left side with a good cross in. It was high, and Alderete got a flick of the header on it to take it out on the far side for a Burnley throw-in. So 2-0 Sunderland. And we've had, 3 minutes, not even, of this second half. And Burnley, who are kicking from right to left in this second period, are attacking with more venom than we saw in all of the first half. A throw-in to come. The short man is Edwards, who's come out towards the edge of the box. It's over his head in the end, and away by Alderete. Up towards halfway, it's thumped back, in fact, towards Dubravka in his green kit, with boos, as is customary for anyone who's worn the shirts of Newcastle United. And out to halfway it will go, with time on the ball here for Florentino Luis. Right hand side now it will be for Marcus Edwards, not forcing the issue here. Florentino again, and already we're starting to see more intent, more impetus from Burnley than in that first 3/4 of an hour. I don't know what was said. You were saying, Dean Ashton, he might need to spit some venom there. Scott Parker, he's got to hope that the words of wisdom he's passed on have worked.
Well, again, what he and the supporters won't accept is a real lack of intensity and effort, which we saw a lack of in that first half. Like you said, it's already been way better so far.
And here comes Lucas Pires down the left-hand side for Burnley. Tried to chop against the back of the ball there as he crossed and executed the ball well, just didn't get the angle, and in the end it's straight into the hands of Robin Roos. Some goal news to update you on, by the way. From the first half, Habib Diarra's opening goal has now been credited as an own goal, and Axel Twanzebe is the unfortunate man. So the dubious goal panels have had their say, and so Habib Diarra no longer on a hat-trick. More saliently, though, it does remain at 2-0 to Sunderland. Dean Ashton, I imagine you've had a few goals taken away from you in your time.
Luckily not.
Really?
Because, no, there wasn't the camera angles that we certainly have nowadays.
So maybe we need to judge former strikers' figures then with a bit of a more discerning eye, given that the chances of them being taken away are far higher.
Exactly. In fact, I think I've had some goals that weren't mine, so we could gain them, let alone have them taken away. As long as you wheeled away and celebrated, you usually got the goal.
Wasn't it Harry Kane when he was racing Salah for the Golden Boot and he claimed one that seemed to have graced the air around his jersey? I seem to remember. But any goal, you're going to take it, and Sunderland have got 2 of them. Burnley have none. And we are 5 minutes into the second half on Talksport 2. Cameron Pope and Dean Ashton on your commentary as over halfway come Burnley with Edwards. Right-hand side it will go. Walker looking to get his men in blue into the right position, but Edwards with a run that was going nowhere, and the ball cleared by Alderete, out for a Burnley throw-in once again. They'll start once more at the back. Florentino Luis with his foot on the ball, takes a couple of efforts there. First a 1-2 with Ugachukwu, the second a ball forward, and Sunderland will send Burnley back to halfway once again. Now into the channel it will go. Ugachukwu tight to the byline this time. Lefay standing him up, forcing him out to the Burnley, I should say, far side right. They're 2-0 down in this game. Up towards the 18-yard box it comes now for Lyle Foster, who's taken a little knock there, I think from Siddiqui as he moved it to the right-hand side. Now the ball in from Laurent, couldn't find a way through, and now Lyle Foster is really hopping around in the 18-yard box. Something has affected the South African. It's gone all the way back down in any event towards the Dubravka, with Burnley still trailing at the Stadium of Light by 2-0.
Yeah, and it's obviously a much better intensity from Burnley. But maybe don't be so fooled by that, because Sunderland are happy to sit deep and defend. They've not really given up an opportunity as yet.
Ball whipped into from the right-hand side for Burnley, away when it was looking for Foster by Ballard, and now picked up by Sunderland, who lead by 2 unanswered goals in this game. Up to Diarra on halfway, who's had one taken off him. And forward comes Foster, having won that ball back. Inside for Ugachukwu, advancing towards the attacking third now. Laurent, far side the Burnley right. Looks back to find the blue shirt of Walker. Still edging towards the attacking third. Yet to really test the goalkeeper. Esteve now, halfway inside enemy territory. Anthony, left side of the area, turns on his right foot. His cross was blocked, though it's sourced by Lefay. And Sunderland clear up towards Brobby, helpful, as the tall Esteve wins the header back ahead of the Sunderland front man. Burnley trying to go down their right-hand side flank again, and Laurent has been flagged for a foul there as he went into the back of Reynildo Mandava. And so more intense still. It's much better, it's much more well-rounded from Burnley. They look like they have more threat. The problem is, though, so much damage was done in that first 45 minutes that Sunderland are just stepping back and dodging the punches here.
Yeah, they are, but there was just a little rousing bit of noise from the home supporters, because, you know, they want to see a little bit more still in the second half. Good first half performance from Sunderland. It's probably not quite the need to sit back as deep as they have done against Burnley. You'd probably like them to see, maybe try and get a third and a fourth and get a bit more goal difference to their tally.
Very different body language from the two managers at the moment. Regis Lebris out right in the periphery of his technical area, hands in pockets. Scott Parker back in his technical area, talking to his analysts. As Burnley and Kyle Walker will take, they'll have a free kick brought back for offside here. Actually, Kyle Walker was waiting for the ball to come out of the sky, but in the end it's going to be a free kick to be taken by, I think Robin Roos is going to come all the way out towards halfway here. An offside flag from that bouncing ball into attack. And so the Sunderland stopper will have a chance to send this ball downfield and find his side's third goal. One that will surely now bring an end to this match as a contest. As it has been more of a contest since the turnaround. We are nearly 10 minutes into the second half. Up towards Ballard it goes. Went up to win a header, didn't win it. Forward it's sent by Diarra. He also can't find his man, so Burnley have managed to bring it to halfway, and then Trey Hume with a miss hit gives the throw-in away, taken quickly and maybe too quickly by Lucas Pires. Didn't find his man. Second ball might do it though. Down the line for Burnley towards Anthony. 20 yards away from the corner flag. Tried to get into a crossing position. Ran straight there into Nori Mukiele. And it's cleared from deep inside the Sunderland depths and out for a throw-in. 2-0 after 55 minutes. Sunderland lead.
Yeah, just probing Burnley, but need to do more still to actually create anything. Ogachukwu, because of the change and Laurent in midfield, is higher up, looking to try and support Foster, who had zero support in that first half. It's already looking better because of it.
And Burnley looking for just a second away Premier League win of the season and a first win anywhere in the Premier League since October. Hope scuppered early on. The own goal for Axel Tuanzebe, and then Habib Diarra with a goal on half an hour to make it the current scoreline of 2-0 to Sunderland, who look set to extend the Premier League's only unbeaten home record as Florentino opens up his body, plays it out to the right hand side. Foul is called by Paul Tierney. It's Marcus Edwards who has gone down. Florentino just turning his body, trying to find the right pass, and then it was Reynildo who was half a second late to the ball there. And Edwards feeling a bit sore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore if you get even a tiny touch on the ball. If you then follow through slightly with the studs as well, and the referees will give that free kick.
So, a Walker free kick. Burnley crying out for a goal. Could the set piece be their deliverance? 45 yards out from goal as the crow flies. It's way off to the right. Walker bending it in. First man's header was a Stev, and he got there and then ballooned it high over the top. It's ended up wide of the goal from the Frenchman's head. He's good in the air, not that time though. Remains Sunderland 2, Burnley 0.
No, got himself free away from Trey Hume. Just needs to glance the header. Gets too much on that. Powers the header up and over. A glancing header there, either towards goal, gives an opportunity to fly past the roofs, or if you just glance it towards the back, maybe a teammate is free to tap home.
Well, an issue for the moment there from Dan Ballard, who had to pick himself up and be helped back to his feet. And from the way he and Omar Alderete were rubbing their heads, I can only assume that they clashed heads from that free kick. Came to nothing though, and the goal kick now is taken by Robin Roofs. You're listening to Sunderland versus Burnley on Talksport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now, you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Sunderland versus Burnley live right now. Search Now Sports as we have a free kick here for Sunderland, toasted with ironic jeers by the home supporters, given away by Florentino Luis. Siddiqui, the man winning the header, and then was clocked as he was in the air, and so a free kick on the edge of the centre circle. Sunderland spy goal number 3. We've played just shy of 58 minutes on Talksport 2, and it's Alderete stands over this ball, left arm raised to his teammates, dead central, whips it right footed, and you could tell instantly that was going to be too big, and out it goes for a goal kick. So we're 2-0, 58 minutes gone. A little bit better from Burnley. Sunderland have that air of threat about them though whenever they go forward.
Yeah, and I think, look, Sunderland, of course, in a great position in the Premier League and are in no danger, but probably still have that feel about them that there's going to be a bit of protection towards the 2-0 lead that they have, but they should have the confidence really to think, actually, let's go and try and get a third. Let's maybe try and entertain the supporters that have come out on this cold, crisp evening to watch them.
Well, if they win this game, as it seems they will do, they will rise into 8th position, Sunderland, in the Premier League. And if they score 6 goals, they'll move into 7th. Now, I wasn't planning to use that stat tonight, but 2-0 up after half an hour, I wondered if that might come into play. We're now at the hour and it's still 2-0, so maybe that might be a stretch beyond them. But things were looking rather ominous for Burnley at one point as Alderete chips out from the back. Doesn't find a man in red and white, though, as coming together goes the way of Burnley, with Ogachukwu winning out against Ballard, who ended up on the floor. So Sunderland fans raise their voices. Lucas Pires starts again for Burnley. All in blue inside their own half now, edging towards halfway. Ball forward by Bashir Humphreys. Kyle Walker on the right hand side, and men in blue searching, looking for a little bit of room. It comes crossfield towards Anthony, but it's under hit. It was a gift for Mukiele. who can set away Trey Hume, who's over halfway now. And inside him he's got Diarra, already halfway inside the Burnley half. He will use Habib Diarra. Men in the middle, Brobby among them. Diarra's taking it to the corner, in fact. Tries to turn, plays it against Florentino. They're still scrapping away in the corner, but Burnley have won it back. A little bit early for that, I thought, Dean, after an hour. Sunderland 2, Burnley 0.
Just a bit, but they've managed to recycle it out to this left-hand side.
And here comes Sunderland now, wide out on the left. Ball into the feet of Siddiqui. And now Reynaldo Mandava turning and shooting and got underneath it there. Just saw a pocket of space opening up, 18-yard box, work it onto his right foot, then onto his left foot, but underneath the ball, and it was always rising away from goal.
Yeah, he did really well to start with, actually, because he faked the right-footed shot against Laurent, sat him on his backside, got it onto his favoured left, and then just was digging it out rather than striking through the ball, digging it out from underneath his feet, and was always going to hit that over the crossbar.
Well, we're seeing 2 substitutions be ready for Burnley. Zian Fleming, Armando Broja, the men being given their last instructions. So no James Ward-Prowse at this stage. We are 61 minutes into this Monday night affair. All Sunderland so far, 2-0 they lead. Habib Diarra thought he had 2. The first one chalked down as an own goal for the since replaced Axel Tuanzebe. Ball out of play on the far side for a Sunderland throw-in. They'll go back into their own half here as an under pressure Siddiqui is forced down to ground, and that's gone Burnley's way. The referee, I think he's given a free kick, not even a throw-in there. And so there were 2 of them wrestling for it. It is a free kick indeed. It was Siddiqui, went down on the ball. I wonder if he handled it maybe as he hit the deck. Either way, Burnley free kick, 50 yards from the corner flag. Blue shirts trotting forward now. Fleming and Broja readying themselves to come on. And what scoreline will the game be when they enter into it? It is Kyle Walker standing over it, drills it flat and low, hits Lefay, different type of free kick, still a poor one, and then he does atone partially by stopping Talby getting away. Kyle Walker plays it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Blue shirts are bounding, looking for a ball into the middle. Florentino Luis slipped though, poor pass, easily collected by Siddiqui, and he clears up towards Brobby. Now then, he fancies a run. Up against the defender is Stev, who's trying to stand him up here. Those 2 have gone wide of goal, cuts it back towards Lefay. Right idea, but maybe played half a second late. Defenders close in and Laurent hacks it away.
Yeah, he gets the supporters on their feet though, doesn't he? Brian Brobby chased down everything. Powerful in the way that he shoved in towards Esteve to make sure he was the one that won the ball for his side. Excellent centre forward play, unselfish as he has been all evening.
Changes have been made. Lyle Foster and Florentino Luis have been removed. So Armando Broja, who had become a regular starter despite rare goals in the Premier League, and Zian Fleming, back from injury, come in for what's left of this game, which stands at 27 minutes. And well, forwards needing goals, it's Armando Broja's time, no time like the present.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Scott Parker wants to see actually if we can try and get the goal to put them under pressure, see if it makes Sunderland a little bit nervy. And to do that, you're going to have to be a bit more aggressive with his substitutions, which he has been. I expect them to be more like a 4-4-2 now.
Reynaldo's throw-in comes to nothing. Sunderland will have the ball, but they'll have it further away from goal. They lead by 2-0 on Talksport 2. 63.5 minutes gone. As a crossfield ball comes the way of Hume. Takes it on his outstretched thigh, then rolls it in field towards Diarra, attacking into the penalty area, had his head up, and then Brobby turning on the penalty spot and shooting low, parried by the goalkeeper and sent over from an improbable range, and that really should have been 3-0. Nordi Mukiele was coming in there, it seemed to spring into his path, couldn't keep it down, it's gone out for a goal kick, it remains 2-0, and Nordi Mukiele has hurt himself in the process.
Yeah, again, it's that combination, Diarra into Brobby, lovely turn away from his defender, great swivel and shot, good save by Dubravka down to his left, and then it comes to Mukiele, and you just think he's going to just tap this in. He's under severe pressure though, takes a whack as well, just couldn't keep it down because of that pressure that he was under.
As we welcome listeners from Talksport. Sunderland 2, Burnley 0. We're 18 and a half minutes into this second half. It really should be 3-0. A golden chance there for Anori Mukiele, who has picked himself back up off the deck now, having stumbled there in a gold mine when Dubravka's save dropped into his path, sent it over the bar from only about 8 yards out. Hurt in the process, is now back and trotting into his own half of the field. Burnley flattering to deceive for the first 45 minutes. Improved in fits and starts in this second period as Lucas Pires stands on it on halfway. Back into the defence it goes for Laurent. And now Esteve will pick it up just in front of him. And blue shirt billowing in the wearside wind as Sunderland happy to sit back and absorb some more pressure here. 65 on the clock. Still with that huge degree of comfort they had from the first time.
Yeah, they have, and they can sit and defend as they have done for a lot of the season.
Oh, and here comes Ian Fleming, who turned and fancied a shot there. Back in and playing football after injury. He's not played since late December. Maybe we can forgive him then. Seeing the headlines and going for goal. He was 35 yards out on the turn and sent it way, way wide of Robin Roos's goal.
I really don't mind that, though. You've come on for a reason, to get on the ball, to turn and try and have an effort at a goal. Nice and sharp from his first bit of action. Yes, the effort wasn't the best, but the first part was excellent. And it's what they've missed compared to Sunderland. Robbie's been fantastic for them, being that outlet and being that focal point. Burnley haven't had that.
Well, a third goal does feel inevitable. Brian Brobby trying to free himself as a long ball comes downfield, and Hume was joining him there. I thought there should have been a free kick for Burnley because Bashir Humphrey's jersey was being grabbed. Oh, and now there's a coming together. Oh, look at this. Trey Hume is right in the middle of it, and Martin Dubravka, and they're wrestling each other, and players from both sides have come in. And now maybe something's been said. I'm not sure what started it, but Trey Hume and Martin Dubravka coming together inside the Burnley penalty area. And Hume has been sent away there by his teammates. Dubravka is going to get the ball from behind his goal. It's over as quickly as it started. Dubravka's been given a yellow card for his part in the fracas. Tempers boiling over and a moment of madness.
Well, it's ridiculous, really. I mean, Trey Hume just follows in slightly on Dubravka once he's got it into his hands. He's trying to get round Humphreys, and Dubravka slides into Humphreys. There's a little bit of a pushing and a shoving, and as we've seen with Chelsea West Ham, they all try and get involved. There's a big melee because of it, and there's absolutely nothing there, really.
Well, a lot of words, really, and a few arms thrown, and then suddenly everybody was piling in, and I thought Paul Tierney did a good job there of diffusing things. So a yellow card for Martin Dubravka. His side feeling the strain of being 2 goals down, set to go 15 without a win in the Premier League. It is relegation form for the side sitting 19th as Lafay tries to walk it out of defence. It's been, well, with a quarter of the game to go, a difficult night for Burnley, and now boos all around for Dubravka. Plays it out in front of him. Maxime Esteve is shut down, tried to clear the ball away, and it ricochets for a throw-in to Burnley. Trailing 2-0 in this game. And it seems Trey Hume did also cop a yellow card in the coming together with himself and the Burnley goalkeeper. As we're going to see another change for the away side. Loom Chowner is the man to be brought on. So the young French winger, and Marcus Edwards is the man replacing, like for like, I think you'd say.
Yeah, I mean, a slight surprise just because I think Edwards has been the one player that's at least looked like creating something for Burnley, who, I mean, despite the changes, don't look like they're going to get back into the game. There's just not that air about them at the moment.
As a long ball from Dubravka is sent back the way it came, and now Brobby, he thinks he was in there, and Bashir Humphrey's got a shoulder across and just got between man and ball, and that was enough in the end to wrestle it away from a Brian Brobby, who wants a 6th goal of the season, and his side have won it back, and there's a little casual flick from Lafay, onto the 1-2 there, and then didn't receive it from Shamsdeen Talbi, and Burnley will have it back, but they're under pressure once again. 2-0 down they are. Still fighting in this game. Sunderland looking for a third to wrap it up as Ballard goes flying into a challenge and then is down in a challenge that he instigated in the centre circle. He went in on Jadon Anthony, and a yellow card has gone the way of the Burnley man, because it's left the Sunderland defender in a heap of pain in the centre circle. No pain for Sunderland fans on looking at the scoreboard, though. A little bit left in there by Anthony. That's why the yellow card has come out. A little bit of needle coming through in this game now. 20 to go, Sunderland 2 up.
Yeah, frustration, of course. Just a little late from Anthony. Ballard going in. And Lafay as well with a challenge before that. They've had the edge in that sense. He wanted it a little bit more.
So the free kick for Sunderland, 2-0 up. Trey Hume has said, no thanks, I'll take it, to Robin Roofs, who now has to walk back to his own goal. And Robin Roofs isn't done though. He's now launched the verbal volley 40 yards downfield towards Paul Tierney, because he thinks Armando Broja is stood too close. I think he was as well. Finally, this free kick does come towards the edge of the Burnley penalty area. Sunderland forced to start again with Hume back to his goalkeeper, who is now back inside his penalty area. Chased by Anthony, hits long all the way downfield, and chasing this one, Habib Diarra. Steady ball back to the goalkeeper by Burnley. I don't need to say Dubravka's name by the end of the night. He'll have been booed that many times for his former Newcastle links. And now coming together with Trey Hume. As forward comes Mukiele. Sunderland looking for a third. Into the area, down the right-hand side. Brobby missed his chance. It seemed to go through his legs. Well, he was only 10 yards out there, Brian Brobby. And a third goal looked an inevitability. And then he looked to goal and then seemed to realise the ball had gone behind him. I don't think he can believe it. His side attacking again. Talbot, far side the Sunderland left, running at the defenders. Onto his right foot, shooting! Oh! And scoring! And what a goal that is! A beauty for Sunderland. They lead 3-0. And it's going to be another 3 points now. This remarkable season for the promoted side. Burnley, well, they've been floundering in the second half, but what a finish it is. It was whipped from 25 yards out and then curled around the goalkeeper, grazes the underside of the crossbar, nestles in the net, and Shamsdeen Talbi has made it Sunderland 3, Burnley 0.
Oh, well, that'll warm the toes of the supporters, won't it? What a strike that is. It's just stunning from Talbi. He picks it up and he takes it upon himself to think, well, I've had enough of sitting off. We don't need to. We're much better than this Burnley side. So he just drives a Laurent. He knows he's got the beating for pace. And then he just whips it with that right foot right across to Bradker. And it always looks stunning as it arcs, kisses the underside of the bar into the net. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous goal from Talbi.
And that's got everybody in front of us enthused. The Sunderland fans only a couple of feet in front of us on our press gantry, up and on their feet applauding. It was that good of a goal, worthy of winning any contest. I dare say this one felt won in the first half. There's no doubt about it now. 3-0 Sunderland lead, and Burnley are heading for another defeat, and they're heading for the championship as well. It has been a sorry night in a season with many of them.
Yeah, and it was just, I mean, the strike was so pure. You know that the goalkeeper's well beaten when he dives without his arms. He doesn't even bother. He just dives and watches it go across him, Dubravka, because he can get nowhere near it. It's absolutely inch perfect.
Well, so Astaire playing it out from the back for Burnley. A lost cause now, really, up towards Anthony. Stranger things have happened, but with 17 minutes left of this contest, it's not been a contest for a while, and now Sunderland are really flexing their muscles. They are heading up to 8th in the Premier League, going above Newcastle as well. It's shaping up to be a good night as Lucas Pires is getting forward with a cross for Burnley into a crowded penalty area, and then one of the defenders, I think it's Ballard here, has gone down and stayed down. Confrontation with Zian Fleming. It is Ballard, and he looks a little groggy as he gets himself up off the deck, helped by Robin Roofs, and it's a little shoulder actually from Zian Fleming. After the ball had gone, it's a little bit naughty that from the Dutchman. It catches Ballard, and it's taken him an extra couple of moments to get up.
No, I mean, Ballard's made the most of that. It's not really a particularly bad challenge. He's just a tiny bit late, body to body. Ballard making a lot of it. But I'm so glad we've seen that sort of goal because it was there for Sunderland. You could tell Burnley haven't got a lot to give in the game, and actually Sunderland don't need to sit off. Go and attack them, and Talby took it upon himself to entertain every single person inside this stadium.
It's funny hearing a former striker's take on an attacking player and a defending player coming together in that manner. It takes a lot to fell. Dan Ballard, he is up and he is righted. It is 11 v 11 and it is 3-0 Sunderland. You're listening to Sunderland versus Burnley on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. As Burnley, some of them, look as if they can't wait for the final whistle to come on this game. Difficult night, and there's still the best part of a quarter of an hour remaining. They do have a free kick though, however. Long way out from goal to be taken by Lucas Pires. It's only 20 yards over the whitewash of halfway. Stands with his right arm extended into the air, and then all his teammates, bar a couple, are clustered around the far edge of the box. That's where the ball goes. Fleming with a header, didn't get to it. Anthony deflected and nearly in. Oh, nearly in. Jadon Anthony with the shot from 25 yards out, and it must have deflected off his own man. He can't believe it there because Paul Tierney has signalled for a goal kick.
Oh, he catches it so sweet though, doesn't he? That might have really been giving Roofs a problem as that was arcing away, and then as Breuer just tried to turn his back away from it, skimmed off his back and up and over the top. It could easily have gone in though.
Well, this the most difficult ground to come to in the Premier League. Sunderland unbeaten at the Stadium of Light, and they have roared their way to another success in this game on transfer deadline day. As well, with new reinforcements to come as well, neither of whom could play this evening. Goalkeeper Melker Elborg, and then the Ecuadorian winger Nilson Angular from Anderlecht brought in. James Ward-Prowse yet to be seen, emerging from the bench for Burnley, who will pick it up with Fleming now, 40 yards out. Had a runner, didn't use it, moves it out to the right hand side for Kyle Walker. Back in more central again for Stev now. Trying to turn into spaces, Lucas Pires, near side the Burnley left, turning against Brobby. Foul, says the referee. And Burnley have another free kick, 45 yards out. Taken quickly as well, actually. Anthony, left edge of the area, shaped like he might cross against Hume, and then dummies onto his left. Back down the line it goes. Crossing from Lucas Pires, blocked off as well. Now Enzo Lefebvre trying to run it away from goal. Another back heel, I think that's 4 I've seen him do tonight. And the 1-2 has seen him away up towards halfway. Turning it inside, up towards Habib Diarra now. Down under the challenge of Zian Fleming, who turns and appeals to the referee, who was right behind it there, Paul Tierney. Just caught his man, and it is a free kick. It's currently Sunderland 3, Burnley 0, and for the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get, well, Sunderland to win is currently not available. The draw is 150 to 1, and a Burnley win is 150 to 1. That's all thanks to William Hill, 18 plus, gambleaware.org, and that says it all, really.
Yeah, I mean, they're comfortable, aren't they? And another bit of footballing joy from Enzo Lefebvre. Those back heels, yes, they're entertaining, but he's doing it in a way that's, you know, he's not trying to
ball swung in towards the back post, and it nearly fell there for Omar Alderete. Header back across goal from Ballard. Referee's whistle had sounded. I think it was the leverage he'd used there rather than the offside flag. And it was a good header. It had gone across to his Paraguayan defensive teammate, tried to put it in the net, wouldn't have counted, as 2 or 3 Sunderland substitutes will be made. We're going to see Diarra, who gets a warm reception, be replaced here. Most of the Sunderland supporters inside the Stadium of Light will think he's got 2 goals. Actually, it's just the one. The first time, mid chalked off as an own goal. But Diarra, Brobby and Talby to be replaced. Mundell, Isidore and Herr Trauder are the men on. So a big shuffling of the deck with 11 minutes to go. Dean Ashton.
Yeah, I mean, Enzo Lefebvre can drop in into that midfield area. If not, Gertruida can go there as well. But just shoring things up, and I'm sure just giving a little bit of rest to some of those players who have been excellent.
Well, it's a job well done. It's 3 points, it's 3 goals, and just the final touches really to be put on it now, as we're ready ourselves for the remainder of this one, which lasts, 10 10.5 minutes more. And, Burnley have seen this one get away from them rapidly in the first half. Offered a little bit more in the second. The slimmest and faintest of silver linings for Scott Parker to take from that. And he reached 75 games as a Premier League manager last weekend, Scott Parker. His teams have won just 12 of them. Only Mick McCarthy has a poorer record after that many matches. Also, Jakob Brun-Larsen has been brought on. Jadon Anthony has been replaced for Burnley.
I mean, I think there was a little bit of life, wasn't there, to the Burnley performance at the start of the second half, whatever Scott Parker had said. But ultimately never really created a worthy chance in that time. And that's what will be disappointing, is actually they've lost the game without really landing a blow on Sunderland.
So into the final 10 minutes, Sunderland 3, Burnley 0. We're waiting with the ball out of play here because Sunderland have got a throw-in on halfway. Referee was just waiting for a momentarily stricken Noah Siddiqui to pick himself up. He's still moving a little bit tentatively. The DR Congo international, as Herr Trauder gets his first touches of the ball. Leipzig low knee, and then was bundled into the back of, and gets a free kick again. And a game that's been, flowing in favour of Sunderland all night is becoming increasingly stop-start as the TV cameras inside the ground pan to James Ward-Prowse on the bench. Dean, are you surprised we've not seen him at any point with the game in the balance? Is it just a reflection of how little football he's played this season?
That's the only thing I can think, is that actually how much football can he play, or whether Scott Parker felt will save him. I think that time has certainly got to that point where he doesn't need saving, that's for sure.
Here comes Trey Hume's free kick up towards the edge of the penalty area, where it's headed away by Lucas Pires for Burnley. 3-0 down they are in this game. We're into the final 9 minutes of normal time. Scott Parker chewing his gum furiously in his technical area, hopping from the balls of one foot to the other, as right in front of him Trey Hume readies himself for a throw in. Ball in his right hand, Sunderland fans singing. They know another 3 points are coming their way. They've not had to work too hard tonight either. On Talksport 2, got both Carabao Cup semi-final second legs coming up on Talksport this week, as this one winds down to a conclusion. Siddiqui winning it back for Sunderland, 20 yards inside the Burnley half. Out to the left-hand side it goes, and now there are overlapping runners everywhere into the penalty area. Red, white shirts all around, flicking towards Trey Hume at the back post. Got his shot away, and then Maxim Esteve, that's what you want from a defender, threw himself into the way. It seemed to drop perfectly for Sunderland there. Goal 4 of the night will have to wait.
Yeah, he wasn't giving that up, was he? Despite the feeling in the Burnley side, there was no way he wasn't going to throw himself at that. Esteve, brilliant defending, excellent from Reinildo on that left-hand side to cut the cross back. Trey Hume does everything right in terms of the contact, but Esteve was across to block bravely.
So, the corner to be taken by Trey Hume. Inches away from a goal of his own. Can he provide now? Right arm aloft. I'll make it 7 red and white shirts waiting in the area. Lefay, the short man as well. Into the box it goes. Defensive header away by Esteve and back in by Siddiqui. Ball allowed to bounce once, and then Dubravka, still not getting any love from home supporters, takes it on the rise. Balled out to Esteve. Long into consolation territory now for Burnley. Ugachukwu playing it sideways out of defence. As over halfway comes Laurent, looking for anything to take back to Lancashire now that might soften the blow. It's going to be 15 games without a win in the Premier League for Burnley, and their chances of staying up dwindling with every passing game or so, it seems, as Humphreys walks left and right before threading it into the path of Ugachukwu. Whole game ahead of him, 45 yards out from the Sunderland goal, which is being defended by everybody now in a red and white shirt, as Brun-Larsen in off the flank. Gloved hands, all in blue. Those blue shirts have seen very little of the Sunderland goal. Ugachukwu can't find a way past Lefay. Sent back towards halfway again. Still pushing, still wrestling, but still coming to nothing. Right hand side it will go now. All the way down the line towards Ian Fleming, gets a cross in, high over the head of Brun Larsen, defensive header away. Ugachukwu picking it up 20 yards out from goal. Estev will start again. Forward now towards the edge of the penalty area where Hume was waiting, and he can play it away to LaFay. Going route one all the way downfield, looking for Wilson Isidore, who was sandwiched between two blue-shirted defenders. Picked up by Hertrauder. Forward to the left-hand side now. Sunderland will remain Mundell. Back towards his own goal with Reynoldo. Don't need to go for a fourth goal now. 3 points have long been in the bag. Hertrauder, 10 yards inside the Burnley half. Back into his own half of the field. Again, it's pedestrian. Again, it's just walking pace. Burnley chasing around the ball, and the Sunderland players are just pinging it about amongst themselves.
Yeah, difficult when the game's gone and you know it's gone. You've got to still try and show your supporters something, but Sunderland showing defensively their power in terms of getting back into their shape, happy to defend properly.
Well, we're going to see another change, and Omar Adorete will be replaced, and Luca Nyan is going to get a run and further his burgeoning Premier League career. There is a thorough round of applause, though, for the Paraguayan centre-back. He's impressed this term. The man with the World Cup to think about in the summer. Catch that on the Talksport network as he heads over to the near side, toasted by Sunderland supporters, and O'Nien on in his place, on for the last 10 minutes at West Ham. So this then will be his 5th Premier League appearance, just a quarter of an hour of league football this season, long enough to get a red card, of course, against Manchester City in December, and he's on with this game wrapped up with 4 minutes to go. Sunderland 3, Burnley 0.
One thing he will do is he'll take pride alongside Ballard in wanting to keep that clean sheet. Concentration now for those defenders, so important for them.
There's Estev in the centre circle. Out to Lucas Pires, near side the Burnley left. Forced back into his own half again. It is Maxim Estev once more. Bashir Humphrey saw nothing on going forward. Had to use Walker sideways. Still being held on halfway here, Burnley. 3-0 down they are. An own goal. And then Habib Diarra on half an hour in the first period. And then a fabulous finish from Shemsdeen Talbi late on in the second with the game all decided. Ugachukwu forward, out to the near side, Burnley left. Kept in by Lucas Pires, and then quickly closed down there by Nordi Mukiele, who thought he'd done enough to win. A Sunderland throw-in, referee says no. So Brun Larsen away from goal, but Burnley finally growing. Back towards Estev, who's halfway inside the Sunderland half. Deepest lying blue shirt as well. In towards Fleming, who couldn't control it. And now there's a chance to run this one away. The orange boots have remained, Mundell. Up towards halfway with Sunderland, looking for goal number 4. And he won't go long in pursuit of Wilson Isidore. He goes back all the way to the orange-clad roofs. And Sunderland, again, allowed to just hold the ball as they see out this victory.
And again, even though they're 3-0 ahead, it's just showing the desire that they have done all season, Sunderland, to win every single battle that they can do, individual battle.
Roofs again, long, this time up towards Mundell, doesn't find him. Header away with Kyle Walkers as Laurent wrestles to keep the ball with Burnley. He will do so, but they have to go back deep into their defensive third now. As 2 minutes of normal time remain. You'll be listening to Talksport 2. Cameron Pope and Dean Ashton. Carry on listening through the week on the Talksport network. Carabao Cup semi-final second legs tomorrow and Wednesday. Also got Portsmouth versus Ipswich on Talksport 2 for you tomorrow night. And then the Premier League returns on Friday. A Talksport exclusive, Leeds versus Nottingham Forest. Manchester United versus Tottenham. That'll be a good one on Saturday lunchtime on Talksport as we await a throw-in for Sunderland, far side there left. They're 3-0 up. Fourth would be just the ribbon at this stage as Siddiqui battles with Loom Chowner, and it is another throw-in to the home side. We are preparing for added time now, just a minute left, and well, it has been a question for a long time, Dean, of how many. And indeed, at one point in the first half, it looked like it could be a cricket score as Trey Hume collects the ball going forward towards him, flicked inside, and the shot was a tame one in the end from Wilson Isidore. Got it on the half volley, straight at the goalkeeper. Easy handling for the bracket.
Yeah, he'll want his opportunity to score since coming on, Isidore. So he wasn't going to not take that opportunity to volley towards goal. Couldn't get the power on it to trouble Dubravka. Look, I expected more from Burnley, especially after the confidence of the draws against Tottenham, Liverpool and Manchester United, but it's been such a tepid performance from them. Been really disappointed.
Well, Chown has gone down just inside the Sunderland half, far side for Burnley, so a free kick given. Burnley preparing for a couple of big games. West Ham at home on Saturday. And that's where Game Day Live will be presented to you live from Crystal Palace away a week on Wednesday as we enter 4 added minutes. Some tough games for Sunderland coming as well. This is the ideal preparation ahead of Arsenal away on Saturday, and then it's Liverpool next Wednesday. Well, the following Wednesday, that'll be on Talksport, but a win from which they can draw much confidence now, and especially after a particularly sticky patch of 1 win in 7 in the Premier League as Lafay goes down on halfway but managed to get the pass away. Good advantage played here by the referee. Nordi Mukiele near side the Sunderland right corner of the area, looking for a 4th goal. Massively overhit his cross though, and it's gone out on the far side, I think for a goal kick. It did come back into play as a yellow card has been brandished there towards a Burnley player. That must have been for the initial challenge as Lafay tried to get the ball away, and Kyle Walker came across, gave him a little bit of a barge, and the referee coming back retrospectively to give the yellow. And that tackle has still left Lafay down. He's just been hauled back to his feet there by Luke O'Nien, and that would take some of the gloss off to lose any more influential men to injury, with Granit Xhaka still out for the next couple of weeks. But, well, really, it's a night full of positives for Regis Lebris and for Sunderland.
It is. That home record is just incredible, isn't it? To keep everybody out so far.
Well, it's only happened 19 times before in the Premier League, but every team that's done it has been one of the traditional Big Six. How impressive would that be, having a promoted team pushing for Europe and being invincible at home? It's certainly on the cards.
Crazy, really. It would be.
As we've got a contender for the worst pass of the night that has come from Loom Chowner on the far side, Burnley right. It is kept in eventually by Lucas Pires, but he had to double back 20 yards behind himself in order to keep that move going. As Fleming goes and takes a throw in quickly. Sunderland fans thought that should be a foul throw. Out to the right-hand side for Burnley it is. Walker floating one into the area. Fleming was underneath it, didn't get there. Ballard went down looking for a free kick. In the end, it's just a goal kick. And with 2 minutes of added time remaining, it's Sunderland 3, Burnley 0.
Well, you can't say he hasn't put himself about, Fleming.
He's been busy, hasn't he?
He's been physical with as many players as he possibly can be in red and white. Actually, we'll expect him to start against West Ham, Fleming, because he's been one of the players that has looked like getting a goal in this Premier League campaign.
Well, back and fit and cleared to play. Also have Joe Worrell available. He's been on the bench for this one. James Ward-Prowse too. So it seems his debut will have to wait in a Burnley shirt until that game on the weekend. As Loom Chowner juggles as he comes up against Reynaldo Mandava. Can't get away. And back to halfway it goes as with 3-0 the scoreline. This one a formality now. We're into the final of 4 added minutes. Long ball forward up towards Armando Broja in the penalty area. On the corner of the 6-yard box. Cut back towards the edge now. Lucas Pires on the left foot. Got a ground cross in. Ballard away. Cheered by the Sunderland fans as Burnley have one last chance to score. In fact, Lucas Pires has sliced it right up into the air. And, well, it's Ole territory now for Sunderland as Trouder plays it into the centre circle, and they're looking to finish with a flourish. Siddiqui's ball out to Mundell, far side the Sunderland left, into the penalty area, left foot across, tries to play it in towards Isidore, all bundling forward trying to get a touch on it. Trouder's in there as well, nobody can get a shot away, and then when it eventually does come from Isidore, he was on the penalty spot, crowded out by defenders, and away it ricochets towards halfway. We're at the end of added time now. And as in fact the referee puts the whistle to his lips, he calls time. What a brilliant win for Sunderland. 3-0 they've won by. Sorry night for Burnley. That run without a win in the Premier League stretches now to 15 games back to October. But this is all about Sunderland. They rise to 8th in the Premier League. They are now 24 games into the season. They are still unbeaten at home. And they have won this with swagger as well. Noah Siddiqui inspiring an own goal for Axel Tuanzebe in the first half. Siddiqui pushing then and finding the Habib Diarra goal that gave them a 2-0 lead on half an hour. And then into the second half, well, Burnley, they had moments, but it was only really moments in the end. And a quite brilliant finish from Shamsdeen Talbi, wrapping one off the underside of the crossbar, nestling in behind the goalkeeper, and Sunderland have picked up another important 3 points. This one at the Stadium of Light has finished Sunderland 3, Burnley 0.
Cameron, thank you very much. Scott Parker out there on the pitch, just shaking hands with a few Sunderland players, going through those formalities, but I wonder what's going on inside his head. Sunderland, what a great night here at the Stadium of Light for these fans. They've come out in the cold and their team has turned it on for them. They're up to 8th. That could be a Europa Conference place at the end of the season. More importantly for tonight, they're above Newcastle. And here they go. They're loving it, absolutely loving it. The Burnley players going over to our left. The Burnley fans are high up in the gods. I've been in that away end and it's miles up, just like Newcastle's. And the Burnley fans have gone over. They probably can't hear the abuse raining down on them. I think those Burnley fans are fuming because that was rubbish. From a side that really needed to put on a show, that was absolutely dreadful. Dean Ashton, they stay second bottom, 11 points off safety. They were useless, Burnley, tonight, weren't they?
They were. When I really felt as if the last few games they were starting to have a real go, I thought that's what we would see here as well. There wasn't any of that. There was an unease about them, to be honest. And I hate to say give up because I don't think any players just try and give up as such. But there was definitely a feeling of, resignation almost in the season. Yet there's still a lot of points to play for, and you've got to try and put pressure on the teams above you in any given game. And there was just too many times when Sunderland basically got to walking pace and there was nothing coming back from Burnley.
Burnley are going down unless there's a miraculous recovery. Sunderland are definitely staying up. They were superb, Sunderland, Dean. Took command, led 2-0 at half-time. Enzo Lefebvre making magic. We talked about him at the break. The Talby top corner cracker had the crowd on their freezing feet. It was super. It was what the game needed to top off a brilliant display, wasn't it?
It did, and I felt that. I felt as if don't just let this second half just go by. Don't just sit there and let Burnley have the ball. You're in front of your home fans. They've all come out. Freezing cold night. They've waited all weekend to watch their team. Go and give them something. Whether it wasn't expecting something as special as that in terms of a goal, but go and give them a couple more goals to get them off their feet. But Talby took it upon himself. Stunning goal. It'll be up there with one of the goals of the season for sure.
No doubt. Clean sheet topped it off as well. Unbeaten at home still. Sunderland magnificent. I've got to ask you about James Ward-Prowse. He's been part of two sides now that have lost 3-0 here at Sunderland this season. He was here on day one of the season with West Ham. He got on the pitch that day. He's stayed on the bench all night. He's on loan at Burnley, so can't play against West Ham Saturday in a huge game. So why not give him a run out tonight? The game is lost. Why not give him a run out so you at least get his legs going, get him back on the pitch?
I don't really get it because you know he's not going to be unfit. You know he's going to have 20 minutes, half an hour, in his legs. And before Talby scores, you think, well, put him on. Half an hour. Give him half an hour to get around the pitch. If you get set plays, he can give you that real threat. It did seem a bit odd because he's down there now. He's doing all the sprints after the game. So he's got that in his legs, clearly.
He must be really enjoying that.
But I know he's not played much football this season. It did feel strange that he wasn't brought on, but we know what his game is. Dead ball specialist. Burnley were never in the attacking third to get those free kicks, and okay, maybe it would have changed. Maybe they would have been playing for that sort of opportunity if he'd come on, but they were so far off the pace. They had a little 10-minute spell after half-time where you thought, okay, maybe what the manager said might spur them into action, but maybe he's just thought, look, it's not the night to use him. We're going to wait until he's fully fit. Give him a breather again. Has to at the weekend. But it's just it was disappointment upon layer of disappointment.
We're going to have a board meeting now. It's time now for us to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Or is this universal? Is it agreed between us? Dean, you go first.
Well, I hope so. I mean, Enzo Fe, I thought was just magnificent from start to finish. He even ended with a nutmeg in the 93rd minute, just for
a back heel on the edge of his own box, wasn't there?
I know. I just thought
found his man.
I just thought he oozed class the whole evening.
So I'm going to spoil the run after 2, unfortunately. I did think Enzo Lefebvre was class, but I've seen him do the same against Everton in the FA Cup where he ran the show. I thought Habib Diarra, who really stuck his head up above the canopy there. First start since going away for the Africa Cup of Nations, an AFCON winner as well, and then pushes to create that own goal situation, gets a goal himself. I thought he was really good in the centre of midfield, but it could have gone to a few of the Sunderland players today.
I've got the casting vote, Enzo Lefebvre. Sorry, Cameron. That was our Here For It hero, man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.